Oh! Oh! This is not a podcast. All right. My name's Donnie. This is Gabe.
Hey.
He's our special guest today on this episode of This Is Not a Podcast, because it's not.
We're on YouTube, so it's not a podcast.
We're on YouTube. We're on other mediums.
Media
mediums, and we are just hanging. We're just hanging. We have some things we'll talk about, maybe. We might have some topics. We might have some hot takes. I'm going to get my cold coffee. There's a hot take right there. I like it cold. All right, whatever.
So, Donnie, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Thank you for being here.
Even though it's not a podcast or not a medium. It's
definitely not a podcast.
Whatever you want to call it, thanks for having me today.
You know, we should put the light. Yeah, we should do the. Can you grab that?
Yes.
This is not a podcast. Like, if it were, like, this would be very unprofessional. However, you know the title of this thing. You know the thing. You know already what this thing is. And right now, we're having a rave, baby. Come on. This is not a podcast, baby. You know this is not a podcast, so stop singing, man. Come on, what is up with that? All right, so we got this very abrasive and all right. How about that? Is that oh, that's better, right?
That doesn't help me either way.
No, dude, you don't need any help, bro. You're Gabe Flores, man. For the people at home, Gabe Flores is an accomplished playwright, musician, all-around amazing dude. And he has a secret job that he didn't want to talk about.
A secret public sector job.
Secret public sector job. And I'm Donnie. I do jokes and I do silly songs and music, which I got some cool ones coming up, dude. I told you about my new ones.
You did. I was witness to the debut, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's done.
When it's realized.
When it's real.
When it's real, none of this is real, buddy. Did you know that? That's the whole internet
this
illusion,
is meta.
dude. This is the matrix we live in, bud. So yeah, this is not a podcast. So bottom line is that we are here to entertain, or I'm here to entertain. Gabe's here to be a guest. You know, no pressure, buddy. You just do whatever you do.
Maybe become a co-host. We'll see.
He may. You have an excellent radio voice. Are my guns in here enough? Am I gunny enough here for this? I don't know. I'm not prepared. All right, so apparently we have 0 people live on the chat. Yeah, so make sure everybody gets on their Facebook
that
here.
Subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button, baby.
Make sure to like and comment.
You got to subscribe right here, and you got to like and comment, and you got to get the algorithm right. We got to get it just in the right sweet spot for that algorithm. Bill Gates. Just say Bill Gates a bunch. I think it'll work. Okay, cool. I think that's how it works on here. So I'm on the Facebook.com. I don't know if you're on there, but we're checking in and letting people know we're live on YouTube. Again, this is not a podcast. If it were, like, this again would not be professional at all. It'd be
an audio medium. You wouldn't see us.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, podcast is more of an audio medium. Not to say you can't find this on audio mediums. Thank you, audiomediums.com. He knows my punchlines, this guy. He knows them. He already knows them. I don't know why we're even trying.
Well, we've been friends for a long, long time.
We have been friends for a long time. All right, let's talk about that.
We finished each other's sandwiches. All right.
That might be copyrighted content. I don't know if we can use that, but
that's all right. Frozen stole it from the rest of the.
But again, we can't. Frozen stole it from. Yeah, that's true. That's true, dude. A lot of people steal content nowadays because there's so everybody's making so much content. This is a good topic to talk about.
It is a good topic. So I don't know if we need to do more introductions before we get into the.
No, we will. But it's not,
I'm with you though. Yes, I don't disagree.
This is not a real thing.
Well, we're really here. I really drove down to your house today.
You did, man, which I appreciate, man. I appreciate you driving in.
I used real gas and a real car to get here.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a real show.
All right. Well, we don't need to talk about that because we don't have a budget to talk about that.
It's not a money thing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Well, it's a resource thing. You know, it's your time and your energy and your beautiful award-winning smile, which we all love.
My face for radio.
Yeah. But we're here. We could be on radio. You don't know where we're going to be because this, don't even worry about what it is because it's not. We know what it's not. And it is not a podcast. So we are live now. See, I think people think on these other mediums, we don't even need to mention these other ones. but they think that we are trying to go live on their thing. You know, it's not about you, Zuckerberg. Okay, so
sorry, Zuck.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, man. Can't monetize this. Maybe you can. I don't know. I'll put it on Facebook probably later. Oh, so Gabe Flores here again, accomplished, award-winning man. Yeah, he is one of my muses. He's a muse of mine.
Amusing.
He is amusing. And I'm not just talking about his face. Hello, guys. Come on. All right. We don't need music. This is not a podcast. But I did bring this in case we need to jazz it up and harmonicize anything. All right. So, Gabe Flores, let me get back to introductions because this is a professional thing that I'm doing. Interview. Yeah, it's a very professional interview. We got the M Audio i5. I don't know if you've seen one of those in a while, but hey, it's here. And M Audio.
You can see who he takes care of over here with the Shure, pro Joe Rogan setup.
No, dude. No, I like that one better. So I like that one better. I just gave it to you because I'm a hospitable dude.
All's well. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm happy to have you, man. No, for real. I'm serious because, well, I'm for real. I'm always for real. But
so we met in 1997, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
long time ago. So we met in 97. We were both in school band while we were learning,
which is very cool.
Not in the 90s. It wasn't cool in the 90s.
It's cool now. I think we're good.
I think everyone's just allowed to be cool in their own way nowadays. Before you had to fill the social contract.
Everybody has an audience now. Everyone has a legitimate voice.
But yeah, we met in 97. We were both percussionists, drummers, we called ourselves, but our band directors were very adamant that we were percussionists. Yeah. So that's how we met. Donnie was the cool kid.
We were percussionizing all the time, dude.
Donnie was the cool kid in band, and
I'm the coolest kid in band. It's like, like it's most fit guy at the buffet. It's that guy.
It's a low bar to cross, but it's still.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you were still the cool guy that everyone wanted to hang out with, and we got to stand next to each other and play snare drums, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, Gabe actually I forgot his name for a second. I thought it was Dave, but it's actually Gabe. Gabe taught me a lot about music, and I really appreciate that. So, like,
how so? You were a year ahead of me, so I felt like you already knew.
That was which is the sad part for me. But no, Gabe did. He actually, he was an inspiration for me, and also,
breaking news, folks. Breaking news.
It is breaking news. That's what this is for. Right. But yeah, so Gabe. One of the things I always remember about Gabe, other than his award-winning smile, which you've already alluded to
for radio.
Yeah, but you smile through the airwaves, baby. Okay. That's a cosine wavelength. Don't worry. So it was one of the things about Gabe is he taught me the art of performance, of performing. And oh wait, we got a dude. Yeah, hey, we got a guy. Flygon.
Thanks for being here.
All the way from Vietnam, I suppose. All right. So thank you for being here. He says, yo to you, man. Yo to you, my friend. Yes, thank you for being here. If you have anything, topics, things you want to say, we'll give you a shout out. We'll hang out with you. And because this is not a podcast, like we don't even, no pressure, So, but back to Gabe Flores here. He's my guy. From Florida. He's from Florida.
I'm not paying attention.
Rider.com. I call your mom. Tell her to come onto this thing, which is not a podcast. Okay. So, but he taught me the art of performance, which is cool because, like, not only that, like we, because when we were in drumline, everything was so precise. And you have to be accurate and precise all the time, and everything's, it's a time signature, and you got to make sure you're right on, and you're such a robot. But Gabe was also a rock guy. He was in rock bands and stuff. And so we played in a band together.
That was much later, but yes.
Later. Well, don't worry about timelines. This doesn't matter. It's not a podcast. So,
it's a real story.
It's a real story. Yeah. Well, if you let me tell it, I mean, come on, right, guys? All right.
Hey, we're still getting our timing down.
We're still working this chemistry out. But as far as our, again, I was just so stuck in you got to be, right on the beat, accurate. And I was so focused on that when we were in a band together later on, rocking out in venues, don't worry about which venues, they were awesome.
They were all the premier venues.
The premier clubs and venues. And we were an entertainment conglomerate, Gabe and myself. So anyhow, we were just all over with the entertainment. So he taught me that, you got to project what you're feeling in here, your energy, so to speak. Like you have to let people know you're having a good time. Because I was having a great time, but I just kind of like would look down and I would just be so focused on, I gotta hit this thing. You gotta hit what's the hi-hat thing, the hi-hat, and then there's a snare. I'm doing it. And he played bass in the band. And I see this guy like having fun. I'm like, man, well, that's kind of cool. Like how he's just kind of like dancing around and feeling it. And I'm like, I'm feeling it, but I'm like, this is how I show it, Then he said, no. This is important for all performers, is that you have to actually perform. That's some knowledge we just dropped. Knowledge.com. They're not a sponsor. Okay, so we did that. So we were playing in the band, and then that took me like, I take things over the top. So I started getting real crazy with my performances on the drums, and then which later became a problem for me.
I remember there's one show where you had the headband, the short shorts, and you came out late, and it was the Donnie show, and we were just up there just playing guitars and basses. Just Donnie was playing drums, and
I was playing drums.
We all just kind of like got to the sides of the stage. So it was basically it was the Donnie Stopa drum show.
That's true. I was doing drums, but then what I did was I got a guy to learn. He didn't learn 100%, but he learned most of this drum part on this song, so that way I could come out, because I was doing this backup vocal. That
was this Gabe's the same as George Bush? Was that the song?
No, that was another one. Gabe's the same as George Bush. This was a great song.
That was a great song.
By the way, yes. Gabe's the same as George Bush. That's a deep cut. I forgot about that one. Because Gabe,
this is why I'm here.
Because I forgot. Yeah, Gabe's the same as George Bush. Nice. So Gabe's the same as George Bush was a song.
That was 2008.
2008. This is like right when I was starting comedy too. Actually, October 2008 is when my first comedy debut over at the Side Splitters Comedy Club. SidesplittersComedy.com. No, go ahead.
I'm saying my cousins are watching. I'm sure. So shout out to Mike and everyone else watching out there.
Mike and everybody. Hey guys. Oh, this is cool. See, this is action, live action. You wouldn't get this anywhere else. You wouldn't get this on a regular podcast because, again, this is not even one. Okay, so right now I'm going to look up something. So I can...
So Gabe is the same as George Bush. I think that was your ode to me leaving the band. Because I was trying to move up and move on with my life. Turned out it didn't work out, but at the moment I felt like a good idea.
Yeah, you had to go through your journey, dude.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what your journey is, but I tried to via the song. Gabe's the same as George Bush, and I did a hardcore version of it. That's an even deeper cut. Remember, even deeper cut.
I think I had already left by that point, and it was a memory.
Oh yeah, that just came from my angst and bitterness. I decided to do that.
Yes.
Oh, my friend invited me to his 43rd birthday blowout.
Again, I said we became friends in '97, so that means we're aging ourselves there. Okay.
Whatever, bro.
Just saying, we were friends for a long time.
We were infants.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my friend just invited me to his 43rd birthday blowout, so I had to make sure I got that in there. So I had to make sure that was a priority. What's a blowout at 43? What is it? Oh, come on.
See?
Yeah, I felt that. That was hilarious. Thank you, buddy.
That's what I bring to the table, Donnie Stopa.
He does. He brings it.
Donnie the entertainer. That's
100%. Tables here. It's been a brawl.
What did they say? Someone said.
Oh yeah.
Laughing.
Was gonna say knee. Oh, he thought that too. Yeah, he was laughing his self to pieces. That's what he was doing. All right. We are live.
That was right over the plate, Donnie. You just kind of that one was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Blow out at 43.
That was
keep that line for your act.
No. Gosh, no. Please no. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I'm trying to get gigs, not deter them. All right. Let's see. So yeah, we've been friends for a long time, yes. And he did leave the band, but
did
he
leave the
also
band.
left an impression.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what's worse, that or the
On my
knee
heart.
line.
No, dude,
They're
my
both
lines
good.
are
Yes.
sick, dude. I drop bars. Don't forget it.
Even though it's not a podcast.
Not that we're not open to the idea, not yet.
We'll see. If you guys like the content, then we'll go from there. Even though
I'm not gonna be a slave to the man, though. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm personally not a big fan of that word. That's okay. That's just me.
Wait, I need to make sure I upload 3 TikToks today. Otherwise, they penalize you. You get penalized.
Well, in my secret public sector job, TikTok is not a nice thing.
It's not a what?
It's not a nice thing in my world.
No, your world's no.
Yeah.
I used to be a teacher.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I used to teach. Yeah, substitutionally. He knows my punchlines.
I know these punchlines. English DVD.
Yeah, that's what I would teach. All
Art
subjects.
DVD, Spanish day by day.
Day by day.
Sorry for the spoilers.
Yeah, sorry to spoil
You guys haven't
that.
seen Donnie live before.
That's one that's kind of getting retired though. I think because that's like my substitutional teaching job. It was just temporary. I'm trying to go live on. Anybody know how to go live on a phone?
Anyone have Zuck's number?
I'm trying to go live on Instagram just so people can see what they're missing. Because this is the actual experience.
That's still Zuck's.
This is the Zuck metaverse. Yeah. Oh boy, we're going live though. We're going live.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're checking a connection. They're checking the connection. And yes, we are connected to Bill Gates.
Yes.
Oh, we are connected. This is live, dude. So you're the real show. This is the Instagram people though. Also very real, but this is the real. But we got Gabe Flores on live. We're live on YouTube right now, which is amazing. And again, sorry Zuckerberg. I mean, your stuff's good too, but we're trying to reach the metaverse. I feel like I should have like a tripod for this, which I did, and I can't find it.
Maybe tricep pod right there.
Oh,
another one.
Okay, yeah. So, but we're doing a live thing on
dad jokes.
This is not a podcast, by the way. That's what we're calling it. This is not a podcast, and we are on the YouTube.com, baby.
So, question for you.
What's up?
Earlier, before we hit record, we were talking about content and how we felt about content or whatever, and then we both stopped our conversation. We're like, "Ooh, this is good fodder for the for our chat today." So,
okay,
I guess we can pick up where we left off after we had dinner.
Oh yeah, how'd you like the dinner,
Dinner
buddy? Dinner
was great.
You like the dinner?
What was it? It was an Indian dish.
You like the food? You like it? Yeah, it's good. Chicken tikka masala.
That's what it is.
Check it out, man. That's a good.
So again,
your
your thoughts on content in and of itself, the need for always be posting and for
always be posing, baby.
Posing.
Always be
Mr.
posing.
Riverview 2002.
Oh yeah, I was on there, dude. I was on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So content. Yeah, I was saying that everybody has a voice now. Everybody has a legitimate voice, whether you have a TikTok or a YouTube or a Facebook or an internet metaverse. It just seems that anything's content. This is not a podcast, but maybe it is. Could it be?
It could be. Now,
could be. I don't know.
I guess my question, why I personally am not a big fan of the word content, is do you think that dilutes exactly what's happening with the content in and of itself?
Like what's happening in the world or what's happening?
No, like as musicians, like I'm gonna put up my songs, and I would say these are my songs. Whereas now it's like I'm putting out content. Do you think that's just kind of too broad of a brush that people are using now for just like any stuff that's out on the internet, as opposed to something that's more specific to what the artists or the content creators are putting out in the world? I'm just asking. Like, so if we're gonna say, hey,
well, yeah, you're definitely asking.
I'm putting out
about that.
Are we putting out, comedy skits?
Okay, yeah.
I guess being a word guy myself, I think content's too broad of a brush.
Well, that's important.
People,
yes. So what I think is that the terms we use in society are always being redefined. Okay. So it feels like everything's subjective to me now. So the word content, the word music, or the word artist,
that's true.
It's all subjective. I know a lot of artists who have content But is it legitimate? Well, I think that's where the people come in.
Mhm.
That's where the people are going to promote what they like. But now there's paid promotions. So how much of that content is determined by how many dollars are behind it? And on a bigger scale, how many dollars are behind the actual platform and who's behind the platform? I think all of those are variables in this content universe. Metaverse. That's what we're calling it.
If we're gonna jump off from there, you ever seen the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop?
What is it called?
Exit Through the Gift Shop. You ever seen the movie?
Exit Through the Gift Shop. Is that about Cracker Barrel?
No, it's a documentary that Banksy put out for street art and that kind of stuff. And basically kind of asks, like, is art really art, or is it something to sell? Is art
something to sell? Oh, that's true.
Or is art truly art?
Oh,
so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, everything's being monetized now, so it's like, so think about LA. LA is a prime example of this. So you go to LA, and LA is full of people either wanting to become something, like an actor or an actress or a
writer,
director, or producer, whatever it is. They're all out there.
Plaintiff and
eventually.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, eventually, yeah, they want to be a recording artist or something. But then LA would say, "Oh, we got these, all this fresh meat coming in," and then those executives would exploit people,
right?
And they exploit the young, attractive, beautiful people, so to speak.
The beautiful people.
It's a very appropriate song and timely, because I've actually written a parody.
No.
I always do this. If you've ever seen
tangential,
I'm very tangential. If you've ever seen anything I've ever done, any of my content as an artist,
this guy's just word dropping left and right.
Blam, 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 blam. I need to hit that on the on this thing. I need to get one of those. Anyhow, I'm gonna look up that app. Okay, so. But as far as, again, so
back to LA.
So back to LA. So we have people, again, you have the people with the money and the power, and the people who have no money, but they have the talent,
the drive, the chutzpah,
the drive, and the willingness to do whatever it takes to realize this dream of theirs. So real cool song about this is called Lost in Hollywood by System of a Down. You can tell what kind of rocker I am. Anyhow, System of a Down has this song, like it, love it, hate it, doesn't matter. The bottom line is it has this line in it, and it says, phony people come to pray. Phony people come to pray. And then it's a homonym. So it's pray with an AY and then also with an EY. So phony people pray that they can make it, right?
Correct.
And they're really just being fake to appease whoever they can network with, to make it, to get whatever break in their career as an artist. Then you have phony people who are like, "Oh yeah, you're the best thing we've ever seen. You're going to be a star." And those people would prey on these other phony people.
Sure.
And then therefore you have
well written.
Yes, that's a very well written line. Shout out to Serge
Tarkanian, I believe his name is.
Tarkanian.
Armenian.
Armenian.
I apologize if that's incorrect, but I believe Armenian.
Armenian, yeah. That's so he's from Armenia. He's a pretty hairy dude. Yeah, a hairy dude.
Anyhow, not mine.
Am I canceled before I even have a thing? I don't know.
Slide out of frame.
So Serge, yeah. Anyhow, again, it was a great line, and it's something that's always stuck with me. Is it's like, oh yeah, phony people come to pray, that they get. Correct. Whatever they
get picked up, they get found, and
then phony people come to prey on the other phony people. So, we got some action on the Instagram. We got people joining.
Do it for the gram.
You be real since 6th grade. Stay a legend, my friend. All right. Dude, we played in a middle school band with this guy.
Who's that guy?
JD Barron.
JD Barron. I have not heard that name in a while.
Yeah, it's not a name you hear.
If I remember correctly, JD, if you're watching, if I remember correctly, I think we were at middle school together, and then he went to Brandon, right? The other high school for a while.
Yeah, he went to the other one. Yeah.
Didn't he come to our school for like a hot minute?
For a hot minute. Yeah, for a hot minute. He was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I just came to say what's up."
Yeah. Correct us if we're wrong. I believe you were there for a hot minute, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh man, JD's here." It's like
we had
the gangs back together,
baby.
And then it didn't last that long. But I hope you're well. Hope you're healthy. And hope everything's great for you.
Yeah,
JD.
he's a chef, dude. He's a chef. He does. He has a food truck. JD Shout out your restaurant, buddy. I want to say something about it because it's he's like really been pouring his heart and soul into that. So
Great.
JD Barron. Let's see. Yeah, let's see here. He's got he didn't say the name of it, but if you see the name of it,
all right,
let me know, buddy, because
we gotta shout him out.
Shout him out. That's what we're here to do. So come hang with us and get shouted out. So my theory is that now that these people with aspirations and goals of making it an entertainment are now online, the phony people who would prey on these people are now also like, hey, we should go online and find ways to burp.
Sorry.
All right. He had a little belch. Oh, yeah. We have coffee. Yeah. From
so you were saying?
Anyhow. So so I think that now some of that you'll start to see online and people exploiting and just, because it's really about capitalism. It's not capitalism. It's a form of capitalism that is not virtuous. It's people with these desires that are nefarious, who are therefore exploiting people with potentially good, motives.
Right.
And so I think that is something that we have to all be aware of and cautious about, because anybody can get an email. Okay, because I get a lot of emails or people sliding in my DMs, baby. People are always sliding my DMs trying to say, hey, Donnie, we think you're the best not podcast guy around. And so we want you to be a star. Like, you ever heard of Joe Rogan? You ever heard of, Mark Normand?
Maron?
Maron.
WTF
and Mark
Maron?
Normand is also a comic. But yeah,
sorry.
Mark Maron. Yeah, and Mark Maron.
I thought we were going for podcast people.
So. Yeah, well, no, I think he also has. Everybody, and that's the thing now is that, like, oh, you're not a comic if you don't have a podcast. Well, I don't have a podcast, by the way, so don't worry about it. But I am a comic. So again,
I'm not a comic.
He is not a comic. Yeah. So no pressure to this guy. No. So, but yes, I do believe that, again, everything's shifted online, including the scumbags, and that those people are now saying, hey, you're the best thing I've seen on the internet. Sign up here. Just click here and, sign
All
up.
your dreams will come true.
Yeah. Sign up for our, package of, we're a record label, or we're a,
is it like a
conglomerate?
Is it a 360 deal?
What do you mean?
You never heard of a 360 deal?
What's a enlighten me, dude.
360 deals were, I don't think they're quite a thing anymore. I think it was right. I think the 360 deal was a big thing, like between the CD industry dying and streaming really becoming a thing where people can realize they can monetize it,
right?
Where the record labels would get a piece of everything you sold.
Right.
So they put up the money, but then all your ticket sales, shirt sales, everything they got a piece of. That's they got a piece
360
of
deal.
360
Yeah.
deal.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yes, and
Right.
and the record labels would literally own the rights to these
Everything.
artists,
right?
Everything.
Where opposed to before that, I understand is they paid for all your record stuff. All the CDs you sold.
That's easy though. They know.
Well,
they have these people in their back pocket. They're like,
right.
oh yeah, you want to go to my studio with this
so
guy?
They would get their cut from all the CD sales, but then when you went on tour, you got all the money from ticket sales and all the T-shirts, merchandise, all that kind of stuff. And I think they realized, the record labels realized
they're like, no, we need that.
They're like, we need something. Oh, you're making all this money. Something like under oath.
Like
say, okay,
money.
A 360 deal. Whereas
right
now it's, I don't think they're doing it anymore because everyone saw right through it. I don't think it lasted very long, but that was like the 2008, 2012, like that range where like the CD industry was starting to really go away.
Right
before like Spotify, not a sponsor, or any of those other streaming platforms that people were actually monetized for. Before that became a thing, I think that was how artists kind of made it work during that time.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, but that's it. Yeah, because I know people who've been in bands who had these really
bad bank loans.
Terribly, yeah, bad bank loans is what it is.
Right.
I mean, including myself. I was in a band that had a bank loan that,
I luckily never got that.
He never got the bank loan offer. But the thing is, though, is that yes, you would get these people saying, hey, yeah, we'll record, we'll pay for all the recording and the distribution and all that. Or they would have a deal where it's like, no, we'll pay you after we're paid which, again, they're kind of, that's kind of subjective too. When you have your friends recording, you're all friends and you're all kind of like out to prey on people. So I have so many friends. Yeah, I have so many friends who have gotten just screwed over in record deals or in and within management, even management or agents, and it's so prevalent because of, again, this desire for money and things that, again, come from these nefarious places. It's not like, oh, I want to have money so I can help people. No, it's like, I want to have money so I can get more money and be greedy. And so, again, so when people say that that's what capitalism is, I disagree. I think that's capitalism being used in a way that is terrible and awful. But it's definitely, again, something that is, if you truly, that's why I only work with people I trust. So people nowadays, I have to know their a little bit about their character and about their who they are as a person before I'll even consider working with them, because I've been burned. I mean, I've been burned, and then on top of it, everyone else I know has been burned. So now that I'm an old elderly man, I can
we're not that old.
I've learned that, okay, now I need to be wise in my relationships and who I can be involved with on a professional level. Now, do I have some people in my industry, being comedy? Do I have people I know who I work with, who I don't have like basically close with, who I'm not close with? Yes. So there are people, because sometimes you can't control, if I'm not producing the show, I can't control who's on it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I have people on there who are trying to exploit me or something about me, and or try to make themselves look better by putting me down, or whatever the case may be. Again, that character stuff's going to come out over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just choose to not associate with those people and only associate with people who are truly real, and I can know something about their character to where I say, oh yeah, I trust this guy. I think this is a guy I want to, do some projects with, whether it be comedy sketches or, a fake podcast, or, just anything really. If you're going in on a partnership, again, these are, I book with the people I like doing business with. So, there are certain rooms I won't book, because I don't, I don't think that they're doing things in a way that is right or is helpful to others. Again, it's like that exploitative kind of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so anybody out there, if they're a leech or they're again, going to put others down, and at any expense, they're going to try to get themselves to that, whatever that next level is. I don't think that has longevity. I believe that is, even if you make it, let's say, how fulfilled are you going to be at the end of the day if you've made your career on the backs of all these other
shoulders
people?
of giants.
Right. So, yeah, which I have another song coming out. Why don't we talk about that? I have a song coming out about, it's a Limp Bizkit.
Hence the
it's
red
hard.
hat on your desk there.
Oh, dude. Oh, come on. No, Limp Bizkit, dude. It's a yeah. Come on. Yeah. Okay. You can't mess with Limp Bizkit.
Take it to the max, Donnie Stopa.
Yeah. So I don't even know if I can fit my headphones on over.
I don't. He didn't give me headphones.
This is a big hat.
So this hat's for you, Miken. I know Miken's watching, my cousin. Hope you're feeling better,
buddy. Oh,
so
yeah, feel better.
This is for you.
Oh yeah. So now we're profesh. All right. So I have a Limp Bizkit parody coming out. I've been in the mood to write parodies lately, and so I wrote a Limp Bizkit parody called "Trollin'," and it's about these internet trolls. And it's by a band called Simp Bizkit. All right, come on. Hello, that's hilarious. Thank you. Oh yeah. I did it all for the. Sorry, Chris Rock. Somebody called me Chris Rock. 18-year-old. I don't look anything like Chris Rock. I met Chris Rock Oh no, I didn't.
I have not met Chris Rock.
I don't want to say I met him. I want to say I
know someone
like
with
I
a
met
similar
him.
name
Like I met him. Like if you have friends on Meta,
on the Meta.
you know,
Thanks, Zuck.
you met him. So like
Mm.
I was at the Comedy Store in LA, and chocolate, and yeah, come on, just got catfished. All right, cool. So JD Barron is on there still. Chef JD, he's my guy.
Did we ever get a name for his restaurant or his food
No,
truck
I was
or
looking
his
through it.
establishment?
He made a lot. He has a thesis in a novel in there, but we were gonna have to pick through. We're gonna get our moderators. We don't have moderators yet. We're gonna get them, and then we're gonna find out what he said. Okay. But yeah, I couldn't read. It's tiny on there. I'm sorry, JD. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah.
We'll follow up with you later.
We'll
circle back as the.
We'll circle back.
As Jen Psaki says, we'll circle back.
Our affiliates will be in touch eventually. Don't
slide into your DMs.
Yeah, slide my DMs if you have an opportunity. I'm in. I want to click the link, and I want to give you all my information, so that way you can steal from me. All right. So, but yes, this Limp Bizkit song, Simp Bizkit song called "Trollin'" is coming out soon.
Is there anybody specifically you're calling out in trolling, or is it just kind of the trolls in general?
In general, as a species of or as a subculture.
Gotcha. Now I think the podcast content, even though I don't like that word, that I usually like is usually the deep dives, deep questions. So what led you to want to do trolling? Was there a specific thing that happened to you that kind of made you say, you know what, I'm going to call these people out, but in a funny way or something like that? Or...
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to me a lot. I'm a guy. Okay. So as a person, I am generally very trusting, you know, which again is why I have to be discerning in my friendships and relationships. But I am a very trusting guy. So like by nature. And so I really have to keep that in check, because sometimes other people, again, don't have the same intentions as that maybe they present. And so I've in the comedy world, I've had it happen in whether it be in stand-up or whether it be on social media or on my videos, because I have over 150 videos here on the youtube.com.
Smash
that like and the subscribe, baby. Right. Oh, I knew I could work it in.
There it is.
All right.
always be posting. Right?
Always be in the algorithm, baby.
I'll do it for the algorithm. All right.
Did it all for the algorithm.
You were saying
that doesn't flow. That's why it's not in there, baby.
I don't have headphones.
Did it all for the algorithm. All right. Yes. Algorithm.
See what you're saying?
All right. I was saying that, yes, I've had people in my life over time in these relationships take advantage of me, or, you know, even start rumors to try to, because here's the thing, in comedy, we're not competition. We're not each other's competition. That is something that some people don't believe. They don't believe that we're not competition, that we are actually stronger as a group than we are apart. So anytime someone I know who's a friend of mine, or, you know, someone I've worked with and someone I know in my community, in my comedy community, if they make it, like, I'm pumped for them. Like, I'm like, oh man, this guy, did you see him? He was on America's Got Talent. Oh, did you see this guy? He did this thing, you know, like, that is exciting to me. Like, I want my friends to succeed, and I want other people in my comedy community to succeed. However, I've had experiences with people where they have a different perspective, where they think, oh, well, you know, if this guy starts headlining this club, then he's taking my spot, and I deserve that spot, and he doesn't deserve it. I'm like, dude, no, if you work hard and you get funnier and you get an act, you have something to market and to deliver that's of value, you should be able to succeed. I think that's part of the great thing about our country, is that you kind of have those opportunities. You know, so and in the comedy community, again, it's like, no, this guy's taking from me. It's like, no, like, the more success we have as a group, the more opportunities come for everybody. Because if that guy and another guy from our comedy community, and then another guy. We start seeing all these people, blowing up. It's like, great. Now, if they want,
shines a light on the local
right. So
community.
they're like, hey, well, I'm coming to Tampa. So I need, a feature act, right? Case in point, we have like Emo Phillips came to town. So Danny Bevins, he's a local guy here. Well, he's local to here now. He's from LA, but he's a headliner. He's been a headliner for over 25 years. So Emo's like, hey, Danny Bevins, will you open for me here at this arena or not arena? It was like a theater, but then it was a big theater. And then, you get guys like Jim Brewer, a couple of my friends have opened up for him because he's like, hey, I'm in town, or, come on the road with me if they're available to come on the road. It's like the more Jim Brewers and, those kinds of people who come out of our community, the better, the way I see it. Because it's like, again,
kind of like a rising tide lifts all boats type of thing.
Exactly. And that's the way it works. Like there's a podcast I really respect, and there's a guy I really respect even more. His name's Rick Roberts, R-I-K Roberts. This guy has he explains this really well. He calls it the mindset of abundance versus the mindset of scarcity. So if you have a scarcity mindset, you think that there's a limited number of gigs out there. You think there are a limited number of opportunities as a comic. And that's absolutely, as someone who's been doing comedy since 2008, don't worry about how old I am.
I was there. I do remember the conversation when you were like, I'm going to be an entertainer. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
But here you are.
Here I am.
Bless you.
Here I am on the youtube.com, baby. All right. So, but the thing is, like, I said, okay, well, if, what was I saying? Well, some about how scarcity versus
scarcity
Rick Roberts
versus abundance.
Rick Roberts says, okay, so a scarcity mindset says that there's not enough work for everybody, and that I need to and this is a paradigm shift that needs to happen, I think, with a lot of creative people, because you think you're slave to the comedy club, you think you're slave to the comedy booker or agent. You're not. Absolutely not. Especially in the age of this stuff that's happening with the metaverse here and the YouTube and the whatever other platforms we are on at this point. The thing is that people are consuming content at a rate that is far beyond, like exponentially far beyond anything it's ever been before. And it keeps growing that way. So what I'm saying is, if somebody thinks, oh, well, there are only this number of opportunities, so if this guy gets an opportunity, then that's an opportunity I should have had. Absolutely not. It's keep working on your act, keep getting something worth marketing, and people will come to you. That's how most of my gigs, that's how I book most of my gigs. Most of my gigs are either word of mouth, or people are asking me if I will do something. I don't get awards by saying, hey, this thing, hey, can you nominate me? No, they have to nominate you for an award, and they're not going to nominate you if your stuff is junk. Right. So again, just so people are focused on the wrong thing. People need to focus on getting as good as they can get at their craft. Get as good as you can.
Malcolm Gladwell.
What's that?
Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. That's right.
Yep.
So the more hours you put on stage, the more of a professional you're going to be, the better you're going to get, the more confident, the more comfortable, the more material you're going to write, the more, the more your creative abilities are honed and you're thinking creatively versus, okay, I'm worried about this guy. If I'm spending my energy worrying about what the next guy's doing, or I'm worried about, the opportunities I didn't get, if you're focused on those things, those variables that you can't control, that's a scarcity mindset.
Yep.
But an abundance mindset would say, well, no, like there are lots of opportunities for comedy. I just have to make sure I'm funny and that I'm able to communicate in a way in which it's funny and connects with people, So again, shout out to Rick Roberts for kind of the way he he phrases it more eloquently, but again, it's scarcity versus abundance. In this, there's never been more of an abundance in the creative community, like never, ever. So that's why we have. It's silly how many platforms we have. It's
Right.
silly how many
Mhm.
things we have to update on our, on our Instagrams and our store. But now we have a
In
story.
the metaverse.
Yeah, we got the stories, but then we need the Facebook story and the thing. But then we also need our TikToks
And
to
then
be in there.
Snapchat, and
But the TikToks are different from the YouTube, so I need to make sure my YouTube content, and then YouTube Shorts. Wait, I got to make sure I have YouTube Shorts, and then again, it gets a little silly,
right.
you know. And I don't know who's on Parler, but there's that.
Or Truth. Or not. Or it's not a political podcast. It's not a podcast at all. It's not political though.
Doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not a political comic, but
forget everything before the butt, people.
But but I will talk about things that are relevant, and it seems like we get inundated and just constantly thrown at us a lot of political and polarizing junk.
Sure.
So it doesn't really matter which side of the aisle, the proverbial aisle you're on. It's either way, it's a lot of junk, right. and it's monetized. You've monetized virtues. You've monetized the ability to take a stand on something,
right?
You've actually you've monetized.
You have to take a stand if you want.
You have to take a stand, yeah. So you've monetized it to where it incentivizes creators to talk about politics. So Stephen Colbert, prime example,
right?
Stephen Colbert, he came from the Daily Show, which was one of the most hilarious shows ever. Was the Daily Show with
Dana Carvey show before that, but yes.
But Dana Carvey. Well, again, I mean, there are
Too
lots
funny to
of
fail. Too funny to fail.
Exactly. Too funny to fail. That's a great documentary.
Yes.
Continue. Okay.
So Stephen Colbert.
So Stephen Colbert, that dude legitimately was funny and silly, and he played this character that was absurd. And
this is the Colbert
Report. And then, but before that, he was on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And
he was doing a similar character, wasn't he, on the Daily Show?
Yeah, and he was doing the same character, but he would do these interviews with people, right? And these people were just out of their minds. They were out of their minds. It was clear that they were out of their minds. And Stephen Colbert, very witty and funny, he's like, "Oh, okay, well, tell me why all the Jews need to be removed from the United States," or whatever the crazy platform it was, theory that these people had. They're like, "Tell us why, whatever, why you think the aliens are coming to take us all on a spaceship."
Give them rope so they can hang themselves with it, basically.
He gives them rope, and he just keeps like playing in and gives them, and it's fodder for comedy. Yes. So is he exploiting that person? Maybe.
I've seen Colbert live. He's great.
Colbert's very funny. But my problem is his show.
His new show or his
most recent show that he's on today at whatever Eastern Standard Time.
The Letterman takeover, or the CBS late night.
CBS late night. .com. So that guy, again, I have so much respect for the guy. He was in Groundlings. The guy is a comedian, an improviser, a just overall funny dude. But now he seems to be a corporate puppet.
I mean, he works for CBS.
Aha. So the problem is that it doesn't ring as true or as genuine when you have people telling you what you need to talk about, and then you start. But also at the same time, it's obvious that like John, for example, Jon Stewart has been a guest on his show, and Jon Stewart is an independent thinker, and that's my whole thing is like, I believe that people should be able to think and act for themselves.
Sure.
That is, and you should question authority. You should think about these things before you just say blindly, I'm this, and I'm going after this guy, and I think this guy's my guy, and this guy's not my guy. That's why I'm out here. No, like legitimately, we need to like examine ourselves and find out what it is we stand for before we just start standing for it.
Right.
So again, the problem with the Colbert show is that now the whole agenda behind it is informing his material, and it's all centered around this agenda. Jon Stewart comes in as an independent thinker, which I have so much respect for Jon Stewart. He comes in and he's like kind of challenging some of these ideas. Like, okay, I know that you're talking about this, but have you ever thought that maybe that doesn't make any sense at all? Like, that kind of stuff. That is what we need. We need discourse. We need to have legitimate thought, and like I said, independent thought, and we have to be able to talk. But if we're so polarized that it's just like, you got this side's like, you should hate that guy, and this side's like, you should hate that guy, or that you should hate anybody who, you know, voted for that guy or that guy. Like, no, it's not about that. We're human beings. We're human beings, and we all have the capacity to either love or hate or whatever. And we're so distracted by these what do you call them, virtue signalers, or
virtue signaling? Yes.
Yeah, there's this virtue signaling happening. And you know, again, from the media and from people on Facebook and, you know, whatever thing you're on, you're always inundated with these virtues.
Right.
But a lot of these virtues are not virtuous when you look at the source. And if the source is nefarious, then it is therefore not worth dying on that hill. It's not worth dying on the hill of,
right.
You know, it's not worth, you know, taking a stand for something that is gonna, if the foundation is just gonna crumble.
Right.
So
it's interesting you talk about independent thought. I think one thing that I think about a lot is echo chambers. And I believe that
algorithm.com, check it out.
algorithm.com. So what you're talking about, Colbert being kind of a corporate, whatever you want to call it, you know,
yeah,
there was
he works for a corporation,
right?
Yeah,
there was some, I don't know if it was Bill Maher or somebody else I was listening to, and one of the guests on there was talking about how the whole point of comedy is that it is usually the opposite of what you're thinking, or it is something that's shocking, surprising, something that maybe you're not expecting, and that's what makes it funny.
It's challenging.
Correct.
It challenges people.
And one thing they were saying is how most of the late night comics nowadays, you know, the Seth Meyers, your Colberts, right, Corden, Fallon, all those guys, they are, and Samantha Bee, the ladies, and they are generally all on, you know, Democratic talking points. Generally,
I'm sorry.
Generally on Democratic talking points.
Yes.
So it becomes its own echo chamber where, you know, you can't really be on, well, Fallon to a lesser extent. But
yeah, Fallon is kind of like the crowd pleaser. He's the crowd pleaser. He, I wouldn't say down the middle, but I would say he's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be down the middle. You can have an opinion.
And I remember why they're talking about that. So I guess there's a guy on, I believe it's Fox News. I don't know his name, but he is kind of like the right wing's version of the late night, you know, making fun of the Democrats. And
I think we're gonna interview that guy actually for our.
Is it Greg something?
Yeah. So we're gonna interview that guy like for we're doing a documentary.
You're doing a documentary. You say we as if I'm part of it.
We as in the.
If you ask me,
DonnieTheEntertainer.com and its affiliates are doing an. Documentary.
If you asked me to be part of it, I would consider it. But anyways, so just like where we get our content from nowadays is so polarized. So, you know, like I said, the algorithm, you know, if you open up someone who only watches Colbert or Myers or those guys,
yeah, they know your interests.
That everything else is going to be that. Whereas if you watch, you know, Fox News and Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, I'm not making judgment calls, but I'm just saying usually when you are only seeing those voices, you're going to get more and more.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Hannity or you're Maher.
Right. And
it doesn't matter.
And I'm saying that in of itself has kind of polarized us as a nation. Now, what's interesting is I know you're talking about how the corporate assets kind of drive the content in and of itself. You know, you're a comedian. For those of you who don't know me, I'm in the theater game. I direct, I write, you know, musical theater plays. I didn't write that. I can't hear it, but I didn't write this music.
It's okay. I have the rights to this. It's okay.
Is it still going?
Yeah, no, but it's low. It's low in the mix. I mixed it low. Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, so a lot of times what you see in theatrical calls is a little different from your world. So this is how we can illuminate each other on this.
Right.
Is a lot of times if you're wanting to be a writer, they don't really have open mics. They don't really have opportunities for you to kind of show your stuff, except they do have, you know, theater festivals and that kind of stuff. But generally, they're looking for very, very specific things. One thing I've seen is in the last few years, it was, you know, when the gender fluid conversation,
gender fluidity
conversation became kind of a talking point in the United States. Basically, all the theater owners wanted writers who identified non-binary, gender fluid, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And for audiences that were gender fluid and
but what percentage of the U.S. is gender fluid?
Well, regardless of that, I kind of feel
I'm just curious, like, because I mean, if you're saying they want, you know, you to be that,
correct,
which again would possibly be discrimination, I would think, you know, we should maybe at least entertain that thought. But if they want you to be gender fluid or pro trans, pro LGBT, so
Q plus,
yeah, all that. So all inclusive. But what I'm saying is that if they want you to do that for that specific community does represent a very small percentage of the population of the United States. So not that those voices are not important valid and that we don't love those people. We do love everybody. We personally don't identify as that, but it doesn't mean we don't love them.
Right.
But
they shouldn't have an opportunity for a voice.
They shouldn't have. They should have a voice. Absolutely.
I guess my point is that when you look at these calls, every month there's one website I go to, not a sponsor, and there's about 30, 35 opportunities every month, and it's like, hey, this theater in Nebraska is looking for plays. This theater in Seattle is looking for plays. This place in New York has a festival, but it's like every single one of them is they want something that is either something about gender fluidity, something about people of color, something about women's stories, which again, they are all important,
of course.
But it almost feels like if you go that far that way,
it's an overcorrection. I think
it's an overcorrection, but you also look at the numbers of who goes to see theater shows. It's 60+% tourists, it's 60+%
people with money.
That people who don't identify with what they're looking for.
Right.
So maybe one day it'll become a thing where
that was going to be
theater is theater and doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
But
that was my question, because here in comedy, I'm thinking in my world.
Sure.
So in comedy terms, that would be playing to the back of the room. So if you're playing to the back of the room, that's all the comics. Now, I'm sure for your productions, you have quite a few people, because I've been in theater and I've been in productions. So as far as the theater community, I understand there is a large presence of the LGBTQ plus. So as far as that, like, it sounds like, okay, yes, these people happen to be really passionate about theater. So you're kind of playing to the back of the room is what it sounds like to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just I see someone commented here about being allies as well, and yes, I'm an ally. I'm for them all the way. It's just
of course. Again, you as human beings, people have value,
right?
And we should love people no matter what they identify as or whatever the case may be. However, if you're in an industry like what we're in entertainment, if I'm playing to the back of the room. And if the media is playing to the back of the room, there's going to be a certain percentage, like as a whole. Let's say because again, it's undeniable if you look at any kind of Netflix or any of these companies that there are certain agendas that are very behind a lot of the stuff, and a lot of it and a lot of it is the pro gay and pro trans and stuff like that. But again, it's like, there shouldn't even be a divide. Like, I don't think there should be a divide. I think it's like, hey, yeah, we're pro people. We're pro any people.
Right.
And yes, police brutality is terrible. And we should be aware of this. And we should be, but then you get, again, people are monetizing Black Lives Matter. People are monetizing and capitalizing. These Marxist organizations that are behind some of these things are now capitalizing. So are you capitalist or are you Marxist?
Yeah.
So you're capitalizing on something. So it's like, these ideals, because there's no question that the phrase Black Lives Matter is relevant and 100% accurate. But then when you look at, again, but now you're like, oh, can I even say that? Because now there's an organization and this organization is this or that. It's like, no, let's just love people.
Right.
Let's just love people regardless of what they are or what they identify as. And let's call out evil for evil. Let's call out discrimination for discrimination.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like, once you have a platform, it shouldn't be, let's make everything else less. Let's not step on the backs of these people, like I was talking about earlier, and say, oh, well, we're going to really stick it to the man today, and we're going to step on these people's backs. No. And if you're motivated by bitterness or hate or any kind of thing like that, or malice, you're going to be malicious.
Right.
You're not going to be operating from a place of love. And I understand a lot of people go through a lot of abuse, and a lot of people go through a lot of trauma. And I identify with that too. I've had a lot of that in my life. So as an artist, I can say, your voice should be heard, and it's absolutely valid. But at the same time, like, we have if you do have a platform, that means you have a great responsibility.
Mhm.
You have a great responsibility to act in a way that is loving and not pro hate.
Right.
And that's a big deal that I have with the media, because if you tune into Fox News or you tune to CNN, it's we hate this guy, we hate that guy. We hate you if you don't believe. And even out of the administration's mouth, we hear people are your enemy. These people, this group of people right here are your enemy, when that is not the case. That is absolutely not the case. People are not your enemy. And that's wrong if you're hearing that from anyone, including the whatever the administration is. If you're hearing that these people are wrong and they need to be destroyed or whatever, there's so much hateful stuff. If you look through a YouTube video, maybe even this one, there are going to be comments that are going to say like, hey, like, yeah, if you don't, do this, you should die. Like, like I've had people literally wish death upon friends of mine who haven't been vaccinated. They're like, oh, because you're not vaccinated, you should, I hope good luck. I can't wait to see you on a ventilator. And I'm like, dude, like, this is a human being with value and worth. This is not just like you're behind a keyboard, but on the other end of that computer
is a living, breathing person.
Right.
So, I guess what I was, I say all that about,
No, I know. I kind of took my own tangent, but yeah, go ahead.
It's okay. I say all that about theater and kind of, the struggles of writing, and kind of tie it back to what you were saying earlier about, if your comedy acting isn't very good, you need to organize your show itself being good, and that's going to make you better.
That's what it should be.
So
that should be the measure.
So I guess what I'll say is, with the theater and writing and musicals and blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, is your show any good?
Right.
Regardless of its whatever the content is. Again, the buzzword that I don't like, but is it good? Do your characters have a reason to for the audience to empathize with?
Yeah, is there a character arc?
Is there a reason for me to care that this character is even doing anything on stage?
Right.
And I think if you can answer those questions, then everything else takes care of itself.
It's not how much CGI can we put in it.
It's not how many woke buzzwords I can put in a show. It's not about how many people of color I can put on the stage, because I could put all these people of color on the stage, and then it could be like an old Neil Simon play which was written for white Jewish people.
Right.
And does that make the show better or worse?
Right.
Do I take a show like Thoughts of a Colored Man, which is on Broadway right now, and do it with an all white cast? Does that make the show better or worse? I'm probably getting canceled right now, but
yeah, go for it. Yeah. Hit the cancel button. Make sure you hit the subscribe and cancel button.
Make sure you cancel me before I get home tonight. But I guess all I say is like, is the content good?
Is the content good?
Is it good?
Yes.
Is it good? Yes or no? When I watch, musicals, it's like, is it good? Like, does it make me feel something? Does the song hit me in the chest? Does the song make me think? Am I whistling it later?
Yeah.
I think when I was in college, I wanted to be a journalist for a while, and number one rule in journalism, or one of the number one rules, is don't be the story. And that's I think that's what I look at when I do my own work, is don't be the story. Let the show speak for itself.
Right.
People are gonna love it or hate it because of the characters in the story, not because of who I am as a person writing it. But
yeah. Oh, okay. Let me give you an example of some of this like placating action at work. Okay, so you're talking about, okay, well, we need people of color on stage. Now here's something that I found really interesting. So I was in a church in Austin, Texas, and some of you guys, please don't mention the church, but because you might go there.
Keep Austin weird.
We keep Austin weird. But here's the thing. So it was literally like, hey, like there's this one guy who was like, I want to sing on stage, with the band, and he was a black guy, and we're like, okay, cool, like that. And then my pastor was like, I don't care, put him front and center, right? But everybody on the team, like I was part of the music team for the church, and everybody on the team was like, dude, this guy can't sing like at all, like I agree.
Like his voice quality,
no, he's just like
intonation was not good.
He was probably out of, because I know a lot of gospel singers, and I know these black dudes who just freaking belt it out and soulful, and I'm like, dude, yeah, we do need that guy, but this guy is not that guy. He's not that guy. Just because he's a certain skin tone doesn't mean that he's gonna bring it, So we're all here on the team, like talking, like, hey, like we have some concerns about this guy, like leading all the songs, because he would sing in like kind of a whisper. He'd be like, oh,
Careless whisper?
Careless, yeah,
Was
careless
it
in
careless
like
whisper?
it didn't actually. He didn't care if it hit if it was on key. But dude, like this guy he just couldn't sing well. Now, if he wants to be in the choir or whatever, great. That's fine, because those people, the bar's a little lower, because there's, as a collective group, eventually they're going to sound okay. And it's going to bring some energy and some inclusiveness, which is great. But again, he wasn't the guy you want. The one you want is like, again, the guy who's like either really like, even Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin's one of the best of all time gospel wise, but he's kind of more of a hype man. He's like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And he's killer, but he stays in his lane and he brings the most amazing musicians along with him. And they provide something beautiful, something that is good and worthwhile and valuable to society. Now, again, this was not valuable to in any stretch of the imagination. The value was only in what I believe the desire of the church, which they were pretty open about it, was like, hey, we need more diversity. Well, we're in Central Texas, and the suburbs of Central Texas, and the diversity in that area was limited, but we want to attract diversity, which I agree, absolutely you do. But if it's not there,
it's not the right person, not the right people,
not the right person. Yeah, I mean, you got this dude again who could not sing a lick, dude. And I'm not even a singer, but I can sing better than this dude. I mean, I do sing in my comedy act. Okay, I sing a little, but not.
You're so paleo.
Yeah, I sing. Yeah, I sing like again. I stay in my lane. I sing silly. Okay, I don't try to be some world-class opera singer, because that's not me. I'm a comedy dude first and foremost, always. So anyhow, the bottom line is, just because it's what you're looking for doesn't mean it's always the best idea, or it doesn't serve anybody except for your own motive. His own motive was, I want more people of color on stage. That was his motive, because he wanted to attract more people of color to his congregation. The dude probably doesn't know any people of color, if we get real, like he probably doesn't know any, but he's like, well, this is going to fit within, growing
check boxes.
check my boxes and grow my church. And, it seemed like it was very agenda driven,
He's clapping back at you back in Austin.
Agenda driven, baby. No, it was agenda driven. And when that happened, it spoiled the whole thing. Like, I was like, yeah, nobody was excited to play music with this guy leading it, and you couldn't really hear him. And our sound guy's like, dude, if I turn him up anymore, it's all gonna be feedback. Like, cause he's not like, he's not projecting.
His careless whisper was not very strong.
Was not very strong. So all that to say, Gabe and I, Gabe was in a couple Christian bands back in the day, and
a long time ago,
he invited me to be in one of them. Which one was it? Soul of the Savior?
Yes, that was 2001.
And they like to play those harmonics, like what do you call those?
Pinch harmonics?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever, false harmonics. And then they
big squeals, that kind of stuff.
The big squeals all the time. Yeah, and I'm like, they're pig squeals.
It was a black metal band.
It was a black metal band, which I don't identify as black metal. But it's
death metal, black metal.
It was a death metal,
blast beats, and
he did blast beats on the drums.
Yes.
And I was
I haven't thought about that since.
I know, but I thought about it. And I was like, dude, I remember going to I
had Gabe's song as George Bush. He had Soul of the Savior. So
yeah,
Gabe won, Donnie won. It was team score out there.
But I just remember I was like, I don't know how to do the false harmonics, and I'm pretty sure that's all they do. So it didn't work out. Anyhow, but that was a fun memory I just thought of. But
that was a fun band.
It was a fun band though. Yeah.
Well, not fun. We took ourselves very
seriously.
They were.
Well, see, that's the thing too. Oh, dude, like
they took themselves very seriously, and I felt a little fake being in that band. But
I
was also 15 or 16 when this happened, so I was excited just to play shows and play drums, and I could play it, and it was fun. But it was also that was time in my life where I was hoping to attract a lady friend. Ooh. So it was always hard to be like, hey, come see my death metal band. It was always hard to have like a girl at that age, like, hey, why don't you come come see my death metal band.
Come see me play the same beat for 90 minutes.
Yeah, there's gonna be guys all dressed in black with chains around their necks, punching each other and kicking. Yeah, your parents will love that.
A lot of angst.
There wasn't a whole lot of. It didn't really work well for me.
No, it didn't work well for any of us, buddy. But at least you learned something, right?
I mean, I learned a lot. I enjoy playing drums. I think what I love most about playing music is playing the shows. I even say when I do theater shows now, I tell my cast all the time, my two favorite things about doing theater is the curtain call and usually the meet and greet afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Or the stage door, they call it on Broadway. That's the two favorite things. You know, I enjoy the rehearsal process. I enjoy learning. I enjoy being in the room. I enjoy finding, you know, the subtext in the show. And I love, you know, saying things, putting inflections on different lines, and then, you know, giving it a whole different twist that the actors didn't even think about. And when the show's over and we, you know, hopefully the audience is applauding. I always say hopeful applause. I tell the actors whenever I'm directing shows, like, the song's gonna end here, and then there's hopeful applause. That's what I always call it.
Curb your expectations.
Yeah. So I always say, well, if you stunk in the song, then they're not gonna clap, and that's just the way it goes. But my two favorite things were the curtain call, which is when, for those of you who don't know, that's when the show's over and the actors come out and take a bow, and then the audience claps for them, hopefully with a standing ovation. And that's just kind of that moment of validation where everything comes together and you're like, yes, everything worked, everything clicked, no one got injured, everybody, you know, hit their spots, hit their lights, and it's like, all right, we accomplished that, we did that. And then afterwards is the, you know, the stage door, if you want to call it that, when all the, you know, friends and family and grandmothers and all that, they all say, oh, Donnie, you were so great as the music man, you were a great Henry,
pinch my cheek, baby,
all that. And just because that's the moment when everything is validated and, you know, all the hard work is paid off. And that's what I look forward to. That's what gets me through the, you know, the rough rehearsals, tech week. Those of you who do theater, when you hear the word tech, it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. So theater. So, you know, I went to one of your productions recently that you produced, right?
I directed, yes.
And it was produced eventually by other people.
It was produced by a local theater company.
Okay.
I was just the contracted director for the show.
Contracted director.
I got to make the artistic decisions for that show.
But you got a cease and desist, am I right?
I did get a cease and desist for that show. So just read the contract if you're ever going to do a show, people.
Read the contract.
If you're going to do a production, we'll talk about it. This is not a podcast, but I'll go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, it's not a podcast.
So I was doing a production of Cabaret, the musical. For those of you who don't know Cabaret, it's set in the 1929, late 20s, early 30s, 1900s. And it's kind of the end of the Weimar Republic of Germany, where right before the Nazis kind of take over.
Nazism.
So, well, you don't know that until, if you don't know
the show.
Spoiler
alert.
You don't know that until about right before the end of Act 1.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, it's the MC, Alan Cumming made that role famous.
I feel weird wearing a red hat right now.
After
one of these things.
Yeah, after Joel Gray made the MC very popular role back in the 1960s. So long story short, Sam Mendes, who's a very famous director, did a lot of great stuff. He did his own version of Cabaret in the early 90s at Donmar Warehouse in London. That really kind of turned the show on its head. So what I wanted to do, and essentially that Donmar production version is what is on Broadway, which everybody who's under the age of 40, they know this is the version of Cabaret, not the original version.
Okay.
So, and every time I've seen the show, it's been done exactly the same way. And for better or for worse, it's always done exactly the same way. The MC is wearing practically nothing, kissing everybody, humping everybody. That's, you know, everybody's just kissing everybody. And that's kind of how the show is. COVID notwithstanding, I was telling myself, okay, I'm getting Cabaret to direct. How can I make it different? How can I make it my own? So this character in the show named Sally Bowles, who is a lounge singer, who my understanding of the character is she's kind of a leech. She's kind of a locust. She kind of goes from person to person, kind of gets the resources she wants and moves on to the next person. So I was like, well, since the rules of theater are once you get a script, you cannot change a single word of dialogue. You cannot change a single lyric in there. I mean, and the stage directions are strong suggestions. They are, you should use them, but if you can find a different way to do it, cool. So what I decided to do was, how can I change how can I make Sally Bowles even less likable without changing a word? So, I mean, you do that by, you know, having the actor say things certain ways. You have that by having the actor put pauses in the middle of the sentence. You can kind of move things around that way. So essentially what happened is, throughout the show, the main character Cliff is with Sally. Sally gets pregnant, and Cliff basically wants to run away back to America with Sally. And towards the end of the show, Sally sells her fur coat to pay for the abortion, and Cliff loses his mind, and then they decide not to be together. My interpretation of the show I wanted to do was, hey, what if Sally was never pregnant at all? You know, she's playing him anyways.
Right.
She's taking.
I really like this take, by the way. I was really into this.
Yeah. So she's, you know, taking. She's living with this guy. She's, you know, playing him like a fiddle.
Right.
Basically.
Because that's been her MO.
Yeah, that's been her MO when she was doing it with the club owner before that, and then she was doing that with. Now she's doing it with Cliff, and I always felt that she's just going to do it to somebody else after she gets with Cliff.
But so, she leads him, right, to believe that she actually had an abortion.
So in the script, it says something like, "Oh, Cliff, I'm really going to miss my fur coat. That doctor was so, you know, he's such a greedy man," something like that.
Right.
And that's kind of, and there's no, actually, they don't say the word abortion.
No, they don't say it. No, I'm just saying the subtext.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they don't say it in there. So it's not like, you know, I was able to play with it a little bit, and I was able to say, okay, how can we do this? And so in that moment, she says, you know, that greedy doctor, I'm in for a coat, and it kind of clicks for Cliff. And then Cliff loses his mind. He hits Sally, and then she's like, isn't it funny how things always work out this way? You know, and it's basically saying, like, I do this a lot. And that was my interpretation of that character.
Right.
And basically Cliff leaves all upset, and my version of the show, I didn't change it. There's no dialogue change. All I had to do was Cliff left. Sally's on stage by herself. She had a suitcase, and then she pulls out the fur coat. And that was kind of like my way to say, like, oh, she didn't sell her fur coat.
Right.
She just said that to get rid of Cliff so she can keep living her life.
Right. And
the actors loved it. My producer loved it.
I love it, man. That's a really creative take.
I was really excited about it because I was like, okay, this is a different version, and it's a new way to think of it. And, you know, as an artist, as a director, I was validated when opening night we did that. She pulls out the coat and half the audience gasps.
Ah, yeah.
You know, and then she pulls out that coat, looks at the audience, blackout. And then,
dude, mic drop.
And that's basically the end of the show. And then there's the final song where we kind of see Cliff leave. But that happened. We had a reviewer in the house who, he was interested in the take. He didn't like it though. So it was kind of like
it was very interesting. But don't do that.
Yeah, it was kind of, I respect this man very, very much. Shout out to PeterNason.com. So he I don't think he liked it. I think he appreciated the attempt, and he appreciated me trying to do something different. He used some very nice words to talk about my attempts. And what's funny is I joke with a lot of people that you don't get points for trying, but I did for this time. Yeah. And so that review went out, and there were some spoilers in there, and it talked about that change at the end of the show and how it kind of changes her character, which was the whole point. It's like, how can we do this different? Everyone who's seen Cabaret knows exactly what they're going to get. And just like comedy, my kind of goal was to give them something different.
Misdirection.
A little misdirection, give them something they're not expecting, something to talk about on the way home. So that review went out. People read it, love it or hate it, whatever. But then the licensing house, who shall remain nameless,
licensinghouses.net,
they either read the review, someone sent them the review, whatever you want to call it, and they sent the theater I was working with a letter saying we can't do that. So we cannot change the character. So it was a little discouraging as an artist because I'm like, okay, great. So all I'm doing is just telling people where to stand. That's as much as I can do. I can't actually put an artistic vision in a show. I can't tweak it. And I stay within the lines of not changing a word and keeping the integrity of the show, but just maybe giving it a different twist. You know, I thought I was giving, you know, the woman even more power. If you think if a woman's going to fake having an abortion in the 1920s, 1930s with the intention of, you know, having power over a man, I think it's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah.
You know, whatever your stance is on abortion, I think, you know, using that to play someone as a fiddle.
And it's kind of reality too.
Yeah, and it's probably happened more than people like to discuss. But I mean, like, from the
watch out for Simp Biscuit coming out. Simp Biscuit.
Yeah. I mean, once you once you meet Sally, you know she's bad news.
She's bad news, Sally.
So why does it surprise? Like, why are we trying to make her?
surprising at
So
all.
my idea was like, why are we trying to make her sympathetic at
No.
the end of the show when she's been
There's Gabe.
a
That's what we like to see.
why are we making her sympathetic
our
when she's
moneymaker
been
right
a
there.
villain the whole show? So that was my point, and then we changed it back, and whatever, it's fine. It became the boxed version of Cabaret, but
There you go. There you go.
fine.
I got some comments here on the metaverse.
In the metaverse, is it
The
a
metaverse? This is on we're live on Instagram here,
yes?
baby. So
Zuck.
the official Michael Evans,
Mm-hmm.
he says, love hearing this. He loves hearing this. And we love hearing that, buddy. Thank you for
Thank you,
hitting us
Mike
up.
Evans.
Thank you, Michael. That's the official one. The official.
Thank you, official Mike Evans.
Yeah, no, not the unofficial Mike Evans. This is the real one. Let's see.
Receiver for the Bucks.
And then we got promote it. Let's collab. DM us for collab. Okay, cool. We're definitely going to DM those people.
Slide into those DMs.
Bob Hope Music is on here, dude. Love Bob Hope Music. Bob Hope Music. Check him out at Bob Hope Music. He is
Didn't Bob
awesome.
Hope die like 20 years ago?
Well, Bob Hope, that's a different Bob Hope. This is another one. Yeah.
So Mike Evans, the NFL receiver. We got Bob Hope.
Dude, they're always at Ruby's Elixir in downtown St. Pete, and I've had the pleasure and honor of playing drums with these guys a number of times, and and they're always fun. Stevie, you know Stevie?
Aren't? No, Stringfellow.
Aren't you happy
Aaron,
that she's here?
Hi, Stevie.
Stringfellow. Yes, she's saying hi and she's waving. And fitting enough, we have Abortion Twins Danny. He's on here. So Abortion Twins is actually a band.
Okay.
So he's and I think they're like a metalcore band.
Well, I guess he came at the right time for
That's right.
my abortion.
He just jumped in right when he was telling you that story.
Yeah.
So and then we got Facts. That's from JD Barron. We know that guy.
Facts about what was that?
2
minutes ago, or is that
just amening something that we said? I don't know.
He did the hands.
Yeah, he's like Facts. That was like 100%, 100. Late show. Yeah, but then you have to account for the allies. Okay, well, like in the World War II sense. Like
no, we already addressed that.
We addressed it. People aren't allowed to have their own opinions anymore. No, people are definitely allowed to have their own opinions. It's just they don't use their mind and their creative abilities to challenge narratives. We just kind of accept the narratives and we decide to be slaves to whoever it is who wants to enslave us and exploit us. And that was who was talking to us. Psychics NYFL.
That's my guy.
Yeah, he was commenting. So thank you, buddy. Thank you all, guys. You guys are all awesome.
Yeah. Smash that subscribe button.
You gotta smash that subscribe guy. We're smashing like buttons and sharing
Smash
it.
Mouth.
Smash Mouth.
Hey now,
be an all-star. Hit the smash line. Now, bow, subscribe now.
Yeah.
You're a now, bow, done a bow, bow. Oh, that's a different tempo, but that's okay. I can adjust the tempo, I think. Can you adjust the tempo on there?
You can, but you have to have that sensitivity for time. That's what we were taught as percussionists. You have to be the metronome. Don't let it be you.
See, that's it. And that's we are the metronome.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know I was gonna hit that actually.
Right. So what else are we gonna talk about?
This show is real. It's live. And
it's not a
happening.
podcast,
But
it
it's
is
not a
real.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call it what it's not. If you call it a podcast, whatever. It's subjective, right? This is all content.
Yeah, we talked about how
I hit my toe for real.
Yeah,
that's live, baby. That happened live.
Yeah, we talked about how content, or at least I talked about how I don't like the word content, but
that's why I said it, buddy. I'm trying to challenge the narrative of this guy's mouth. All right, I'm gonna get another light up here for us since this is not a podcast. It doesn't matter.
It's an audio medium. I guess while he's we'll pause. Is this where the ad break is? Is we talk about our sponsors for the show? So DonnieAndEntertainer.com, he's doing a show December 5th. December 5th? December 2nd, is that the Improv? December 2nd, the Orlando Improv. Donnie Stopa is headlining 8 o'clock. Clean comedy show. Fine for me. I have a shadow now. It's like a Tool song. My shadow. Yep. It's all good.
I kind of just woke up like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of Tool, that's another thing that kind of connected us as friends. I think it was funny story.
We're rhythm guys.
We're rhythm guys, but I'm saying, well, what's funny is, if I remember correctly, we were friends at middle school. Oh, sorry.
That is true. You remember that correctly.
We were friends there, and then for better or for worse, I made it to the next level of school. I'll try and speak a little more cryptically. I made it to the next level of school, and you were not so nice to me that first year I was in I was in that next level of school.
But that was my bad, dude. My bad.
No. It's
hey,
fine.
and anybody else I was not nice to in the beginning of high school, please don't kill me. Thank you.
That's fine. We're friends. Like,
no, we're
decades later. We're still friends.
Oh yeah, we're
tight. Water on the bridge. But my point is like, we had that. Like we had the, I guess.
And now we have the same glasses.
But we were. I think I was the new guy, and you had already established. So there was, I think, some hazing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a hazing. Yeah,
it wasn't nefarious. I never felt like I was like in fear for my life. I didn't lose sleep over it.
Well, that's a plus. That's what we want here.
No, but like you throw that B word around, and everyone gets up in arms about it. But I guess I saw it as kind of like a rite of passage,
right?
Hazing, whatever you want to call it.
And I was trying to look cool, so
yeah, I was never.
And I was a kid, so I didn't really know.
I was never injured. Myself. I was never whatever. Like honestly, maybe if we had social media and you had like, I don't know, if you'd send nasty messages to me all night long, it would have been a different story. But like I was able to go home and just disconnect, and I came back fresh the next day. I
like this topic though. I want to talk about this bullying. Seriously, like this is a topic we
will. But let me just finish my point.
Okay, all right. So it's not a podcast, so it's fine.
Well, we talked about Tool, but I'm saying so like that's how we were friends when we were younger, and then we had a bumpy kind of reconnect a couple years later. But then like you were always into Tool. And then I wasn't. I was
hardcore, dude. That's all I listened to.
Yes, I was hardcore into punk rock back then.
I listened to some Creed though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, it was the late '90s.
But I was listening to Creed.
But you talked me into listening to Tool, and I think that's what kind of like solidified our friendship. I think that's what I was getting to. It's like, yeah, we were friends.
We're going to see Tool together.
We are
in February.
We are,
which is fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My point is like we reconnected. I think that solidified our friendship was Tool. So, all right. So we were talking about bullying, and I have a lot to say on that because my secret public sector job deals with this.
Right.
So
you deal with bullying a lot. Yeah. Okay.
I do.
So here's the thing. The interesting thing about the metaverse is now like the people. So a lot of people, again, have very valid traumas. I'm very much like pro mental health. And making sure that, that I'm healthy, mentally, physically, spiritually, all that stuff. And I'm an advocate for that. So, but there in comedy, I deal with a lot of people who have struggles with mental illness or depression or, anxiety, however you want to label it. It really doesn't matter. It's just basically people have issues and traumas that have affected their lives in such a way to where they are now.
Would you say that this trauma or bullying, whatever you call it, is before comedy, because of comedy?
No, I'm saying growing up. This is mainly like childhood. When they were okay. This is like childhood, gotcha. And then, but now it's you always hear the cliche term, and it's a cliche for a reason, but it's hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
Yeah. So hurt people. So that's kind of a theme that I've noticed in comedy is that we're dealing with a bunch of hurt people. Myself included. But again, I've it's kind of, what do you do with that hurt? How does that hurt? It's like, okay, how do I, again, because I want to make sure that I'm mentally healthy, physically, spiritually. I'm doing things that are out of love and helpful for people in society. That's my goal. Okay, as an artist, that's my goal. Now, again, you take those same nefarious and bitter hearts and motives and apply it to being hurt, and you take those traumas, and instead of using it in productive ways, I'm noticing a lot of people are using it as a vehicle for just, again, bullying. So it would be, for example, like if I post something on social media. Now, again, I'm the guy, and I'll let you know, to the best of my ability, I truly care to love people. I want to make sure I'm being a loving, productive, helpful guy. I'm not trying to do anything that is anti anybody. I'm pro. Some people say they're humanists. I would say this is right. That kind of translates to part of what I'm saying. But I don't identify as humanist, but I am saying that I am pro.
You share the values of
I'm
humanism.
I share a lot of those values.
Mhm.
I'm pro people, and I see people as being extremely valuable.
Mhm.
So when I post something, people will then they filter it through whatever filter they have in their inside here, and because of past traumas and issues they've had with people who may look like me, people who I may remind them of somebody, they take that and say, oh, well, this guy's saying this and he's anti this or he's pro this. And I'm like, no, I'm just the guy who wants to bring laughter. I want to bring independent thought and promote just getting people to think. Even if I mention politics or if I mention something political, it's not to signal a virtue. It's not to say you need to think this way. It's like, no, we should just be able to have more levity, in our lives. So because everybody's so serious and uptight and stiff, like we're afraid to say anything, or we're afraid to laugh at a comedy show because we want to make sure we're on the right side of history. We want to make sure we're an ally.
History has its eyes on you.
Right. We want to make sure. There you go.
Shout out Lin-Manuel.
There you go.
It's
And
we want big year.
Yeah, we want to make sure that like, we're non-confrontational as humans. Like we want to be accepted. We want acceptance. But the thing is that when you filter a Facebook story or Instagram or whatever it is, and you say, oh, well, this guy's obviously being hateful. I even say this at some of my shows. I'll say this if I'm producing my own comedy show. I'll come out before any comics come out and I'll say, hey, listen, so just so you know, we're here to make you laugh. We're here for you. We're here to give you a good time, and we're all going to have fun. Some people may be offended, and this is in any place. And I do clean comedy, so I'm not, they're not going to be offended by any
language,
vulgarity or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be a theme or something. And again, we don't know. There's no way as a comic or as a performer for us to know the experiences that you've had in your life. There's no way for us to know everybody's subjective ideals and whatever. So again, we come out with the intention of, hey, we're here for you. We're here to make you laugh. We're here to just be silly, laugh at ourselves. We're going to laugh. We're going to mention stuff, and you may get uncomfortable, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay if you get uncomfortable. The goal is not to alienate anybody. So that is the thing, though, is that, you can't judge someone else's motives, especially if you don't know them. If you know their character,
right?
As you become familiar with people's character, you can make judgment calls. Yes, but it doesn't justify bullying. So it's like this. It's like this overcorrection has now given a voice to something that seems virtuous, but it is in fact bullying.
Right.
So, for example, like I've had people send me messages on my DMs saying, hey, you're obviously anti-vax, or you seem like you're a Republican, or you seem like you're this or that. And I'm like, and I actually have jokes about this in my act.
Right.
I try to cover the whole thing. Like I say, oh, well, somebody said, oh, you look like a Hillary Clinton supporter. I said, man, this is the last day I wear a blue pantsuit and a He-Man mask to work. So that's one that is a crowd pleaser. He didn't like it. That's okay. But he started it already.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, so I have that joke, and then I'm like, oh, I have one where I'm wearing on my lower back.
Trump stamp.
Yeah, it says "Make America Great Again." I said, oh, yeah, hold it against me. I got a Trump stamp. Okay, again, this is silly. This is not reality. I don't really have a Trump stamp.
Yeah,
but it's a funny joke. And then also somebody, and I mentioned Bernie Sanders, and then I mentioned and Biden, obviously, because he's in office, and it is part of our culture.
Right.
Look at SNL. Look at any of the history of SNL. It has been historically fodder
topical.
For comedy to be topical. So it's already on everybody's minds. Biden is already on everybody's minds.
Ubiquitous.
So it's like, why? So I have to talk about something. I'm not just going to be like, oh, airplanes. Am I right? No, that's
Seinfeld.
That will suck the soul out of me.
Right.
But if I mention, again, Biden, and I'll even, like I said, I have Biden jokes too. I have Biden, Trump, Bernie, Hillary jokes. I'm trying to cover everybody to make sure everybody can be offended.
Everyone can laugh. Everyone can be offended.
And everybody can laugh. And so, so again, like I'll get these messages that say, whatever, you're this or you're that. If you're this, then you don't deserve anything, or you don't deserve this, or how dare you? You're privileged. You're and as far as white privilege is concerned, of course, there's been a disparity. But again, if you just say the color of your skin versus the content of your character, you're going anti-civil rights activist Martin Luther King. He says, no, judge a man by the content of his character, not by the color of his skin. But now it's like, no, judge him by the color of his skin. And now we have critical race theory, which I know you're familiar with,
right?
Because that's part of the curriculum now for a lot of schools. So
well,
or it's in
the thing about critical. I mean, are we gonna get into CRT?
We can get in. It's not a podcast, so
it's
fine. We can do.
I mean, just keep in mind, just real quick before we into that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not trying to get into your world.
No, it's not that. But like, well, you're talking about how like people get offended very easily, and then like bullying and that kind of stuff. And if you say anything that's outside of maybe what they're expecting, like the Trump jokes, the Biden jokes, whatever you want to have it,
right?
Just kind of pull back to the theater thing real quick with the cabaret show. Everyone like who's done theater knows what that show's about. Like it takes place in the late 1920s in Germany. Hello, like read context clues. What's about to happen?
I don't know what's happening.
But the probably the most illuminating thing from that show is doing that show now in 2021. It's a totally different animal. Whereas everybody is having a good old time. It's fine, whatever. And then once that swastika comes out an hour into the show, the whole room is different, and yes, it's shocking, but like some people don't seem to understand that
it's history.
It's history.
Yeah.
This, even though this is a fictional story, this probably happened in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and we're doomed to repeat it if we're not aware of it.
That's true. But also it's like, that's what this show is. Right. And it's sorry you didn't get your trigger warning.
But we would be remiss if we were to ignore
right
those really significant again, civil rights movements.
Right.
And
things I say all that to say, you talk about how, you're doing your comedy, you're talking about frosted fakes, all that kind of stuff.
No. I'm not trying to talk. This is not a critical race theory talk. This is more like people now are taking critical race theory and applying it to, no, it's about your skin color.
No. But before we get that, I'm just saying, like, you talk about, frosted fakes and Hebrews and all these things that you talk about in your act, which is, it's comedy for comedy's sake. And then you make a Trump joke or a Biden joke, and then they all turn on you possibly.
Oh, all the time.
And but that's all I'm trying to say is like, we're doing this fun show, and it's, this money song. We have all the other things happening, and then that swastika comes out for the character to truly reveal themselves. Yeah. And now the audience is like, nope, I'm out.
Well, you have to have relational equity with an audience.
Sure.
So you have to build that trust. And the idea is,
so I only said say it's like it's interesting how like the comedy world and the theater world have a lot of parallels, and that's all we're gonna bring.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's entertainment, right? I mean, this is what we're doing. We're here for the audience. We're not here for us. Like, this is, yes, it's fulfilling work, but it's also productive work and contributes to society. So I think, again, we would be remiss to say, oh, well, let's ignore Martin Luther King Jr.,
sure,
who was one of the most influential civil rights activists ever.
Like arguably the most.
Especially, with his, again, the statements like, judge a man not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character.
Right.
Now we're saying, nah, forget that. We're gonna judge. We're gonna forget that, and we're gonna be even more liberated if we go the opposite way, which doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
I know there's a lot of chatter out there that you can be so woke that you end up racist on the other end.
And it's true.
Yes.
It's absolutely true. I've seen it firsthand.
So just it's be
so
careful.
That's why I'm saying independent thought. Make sure you're examining yourself to know, am I really doing something helpful that is coming from a place of love, or is it coming from a place of anger and bitterness and hate? Because if that's the case, there is a such thing as righteous anger. There are certain things that we should be angry about. Yes, racism, trafficking, all that stuff.
Income inequality,
yes, and also
healthcare, that kind of stuff.
All that stuff. We should be passionate about those things. These basically these are social issues that do matter. Yes, they do matter. But if the what's coming out of our souls and our hearts is coming from that place of, just resentment, bitterness, and just hate, that will never produce good fruit, is what I'm saying. So then, again, so we have the Martin Luther Kings and all these people who kind of paved the way for these progressive ideals. And then also we're not looking at things as cultural either. We're ignoring culture. We're ignoring the cultural differences in society.
Right.
And that is dangerous. It's very dangerous because there's so many differences, between even myself and you, even though we kind of grew up down the street from each other, but
same schools,
everything. There are still differences,
right,
between us.
We led very different lives.
We've had different friends. We've had different experiences and marriages and stuff. So it's like, and you have a kid. I don't have a kid. So
there we go. I'm blessed.
He's blessed. He's blessed.
Hashtag on blast. I'm saying you put me on blast there. It's all good.
But no, but he does. He has a
Sorry,
kid.
ladies.
Sorry, ladies. He's married. He's got a kid. But the thing is, like, it's we don't take into consideration, like, we act like we are so, like, we care so much about social issues, but we will ignore where the issues come from at the all for the cause, right? All for the cause. Again, kind of like the theme of that play you did, everybody was about, oh, well, this seems like a good cause. Like, we should get behind this cause. Well, should we get behind the Nazi cause? Because
we're Germans and this is the new Germany.
This is the new Germany.
This is the way the world is going.
Hey, this is the way we're going.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah, we can make money and live prosperous lives. And, so again, it's like, no. If at the end of the day, it seems that the motives behind our hearts and our ability to discern who is truly an ally, so to speak, and who is not, like, in life. And it doesn't mean that people are always valuable, and people are always going to be intrinsically, just have worth and something to offer, and gifts and things that we need. We want that in the world. And that's why I'm pro comedy. I'm pro comic. I'm never against any comics. I don't care how clean you are or how dirty you are, or I care about how funny you are and about how true you are to yourself.
Right.
If you're doing those things, then you have a really good shot.
Yeah.
Well, and it takes a couple other things too. You really have to be tenacious and work really hard.
So remember, luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yes. Yes. So agreed. Yeah. Because if the opportunities come and you're not ready, forget it. Forget it.
Vice versa.
Yeah. If Dave Chappelle came up to me, 5 years ago and said, "Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle. I'm a world famous comedian."
Not since the closer.
Not since the closer. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, world famous comedian. I want you to open up for me on my tour. I would obviously say yes. However, that would shoot me in the foot, because he would be like, "This guy's awful." This guy, my audience did not like this guy, so again, as those opportunities come, you have to make sure that you're ready for whatever opportunity it is. And if you're not ready, it's okay to not be ready. It's okay to say, okay,
yes and no.
No.
Okay, go ahead. I respect you disagree. That's okay.
There's an asterisk to this, because if you're okay, if you have one good show, and you happen to have Kevin Hart sitting in the back, you have one good show. Kevin Hart's like, "Hey, I want to bring you, on this thing," and you're like, "Great,
come play an arena."
Yeah, come play an arena.
Even though you played a 100-seat or 100-cap room
once. Right. You did that one time. You were funny. So that's all he knows. So he's like, "Okay, yeah, do this this arena," and you go to the arena, and you bomb. I'm just saying, you are shooting yourself in the foot. The better move, I would say, is don't take the opportunity, but utilize the opportunity. So I would say, okay, I'd say, "Kevin, man, that's awesome, man. I don't know if I have enough material, because I don't even have like 10 minutes or whatever, like, all I have is 15 minutes and you want 30, and, I don't really have that. I'm not really there yet, but I'd be glad to do a guest set, so I can do like my five, best minutes which is like the first thing you get, as a comic.
First thing, last thing, right?
Yeah, is you want to make sure you have the go-to. Boom, I know that I can hit X amount of laughs and be out of there. So I would say, I don't know if I'm the guy for that, but I'd be glad to, be when you're in town or even on this tour, find the money somehow, like I would just say, hey, yeah, I'll come along and, I'll just do a guest set. But I know a really great guy, I know this other guy and he has like over an hour and I think he would be a great opener as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then now both of you are together, like
rising tides.
You're rising together. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you're creating an opportunity for another comic. You're creating an opportunity for a connection with Kevin Hart,
right?
Like that kind of stuff. Like you have to be very careful about the opportunities you take, because if you're not discerning, you will take, I know a comic and so she basically took a gig doing an hour and a half or something. She was doing an hour and a half. That's
a brutal set for a comic, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. It's like an hour and a half. Well,
I'm saying doing an hour and a half on stage by yourself is brutal.
I like doing 45 to an hour. That's like I prefer.
I'm saying just being up there for an hour and a half, having to keep that.
I know, because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. And
even the pros do an hour 15 tops usually.
No, some of them do an hour and a half or 2 hours, or I've seen Dave Chappelle live do over 2 hours. Just
I'm saying people hang on every word that guy says.
That's true.
That's true. Half of his set's a public therapy session.
Well, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And I was happy to be a witness to it,
Mm-hmm.
And it was that same day that Chris Rock was there.
Mm.
I called my Uber. I was in
Luminaries, right? Just
yeah. I was calling an Uber. I was in LA.
Uber Black.
I don't know if it was black. I don't judge.
Only Uber Black only. You're only that level.
No. I'm not. I didn't have any money, so I just I said the cheap Uber. Like where you get in XL, with other people, yeah. like the ride share one.
Yeah.
That's the one I hit.
Okay.
Because I had nothing.
And you had.
And I was sleeping.
Yeah, Chris Rock in there.
Yeah. No. So I was sleeping on my friend's floor.
Yeah.
In what is it? Inglewood. It was in Inglewood, and on the floor, like a real dirty floor too. Don't worry about it. But
I'm not.
Yeah. And his name was David Silva. He actually passed away recently, man.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. That guy was a cool dude, man. But anyhow, he had me stay on his floor, so I called the Uber ride share, and because I couldn't afford
Uber
else.
minus, not Uber plus.
Uber minus. There we go. Comedy. Yeah. That's comedy.
Yeah. I'm conversationally funny. I'm not professionally funny.
Not yet, buddy.
No.
All right. So I that's it. Like if I invite you to come and open for me and do 30 minutes,
I got 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds. So
let me tell you about Donnie when he was younger. Oh man, Uber minus. I'm out of here.
Uberminus.com. So yeah, I called the Uber, and then the Uber didn't show up, and I was like, man, my Uber didn't show up. And then like they just kind of drove off, and I was like, all right. So then I call another Uber. Right after I call the other Uber, somebody walks up and they said, hey, is Chappelle here? And they're like, yeah, he just got here. And it was like 3 a.m. And like the club was closed, or it was like 2 or 3 a.m. I think it was 3 something. I don't know. Anyhow, they were closing the show because the last guy on the list was closing out the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh snap. And I had just talked to I talked to Taylor Tomlinson. All right, whatever. She's a really big deal right now. I talked to her. That was kind of one of the comics I wanted to see, but they wouldn't let me into the room. But they let me she came out and talked to me for a little bit. But I met a couple other friends up there from Ventura. I have some friends like Nikki over at Ventura, and her boyfriend at the time. He's a musician and jiu-jitsu guy. Anyhow, real cool people.
Like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like Joe Rogan. It was Joe Rogan. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. But yes, so I canceled my new Uber. So they canceled on me, then I canceled on them. So double cancel. So I'm 2 negatives make a positive, I'm sure. So then I went over and I was like, hey, can I just catch the end of the show? Like I just kind of walked up, and they said, wait, are you a comic? I was like, yeah, I'm a comic. And they're like, oh yeah, come in. So like they're like, you're gonna love it. And I was like, okay, yeah, because I heard that Dave Chappelle was gonna be there. So they sit me in the back.
The guy's name dropping like left and right.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm not saying we're friends. I'm not saying we're friends. I'm
Dave,
just saying.
Give him a call. Call him back, Dave.
Hey, return my emails, bro.
Check your spam DMs.
Check your spam DMs. Yeah. So check the restricted, deleted, blocked.
Yeah,
that folder.
Requested messages.
Yeah. I got a request into you.
Yeah.
But no, but I heard that he was there, so I was like, so I was excited.
I would turn around too.
So I just
Sure.
I just said no Uber minus for me. So I go in and and they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna love it. So then they put me in the back next to the paid regulars.
Mhm.
I was sitting right next to the paid regulars
Mhm.
section. So what happened was apparently Dave Chappelle came with one of the dudes who was next. I don't know who it was.
Entourage.
One of his entourage dudes.
Turtle.
What's that?
Turtle drama.
Maybe. I don't know who it was, but it was a dude.
Deep cut.
It was a dude. And so he was there. And so I just happened to like Dave Chappelle, like leaned over to talk to this dude and talking in his ear, whispering, because there was a show.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn around and like Dave Chappelle's face is like right here.
Nice.
And I was just like, I just kind of gave him a look. No, I just gave him a look like, what's up? Like, you're Dave Chappelle. What's up? And he just like smiled real big. And he's like, hey, like that was, and that was it. That was my whole interaction with Dave Chappelle.
Nice cosign.
Yeah.
Just co-signed your whole career, didn't he?
He co-signed my career. He was like, yeah, you should do Netflix.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so and then Chris Rock. So basically I was sitting next to a dude, and then next to that dude is Sacha Baron Cohen.
Wow.
And Isla Fisher.
Okay.
Or Isla Fisher.
Isla.
Anyhow, that lady. And
Borat.
Yeah, Borat and the Wedding
Crashers.
Shop from Hot Rod. Hot Rod, one of the best movies of all time. Thank you.
Not a fan.
He's not a fan. No,
okay.
We
respectfully disagree on that.
Theatrical integrity, and I like silly. So that's it.
Little Miss Sunshine, perfect movie. Juno,
and then what was the one? The New Jersey Girl,
with Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, Jersey Girl.
Oh, isn't that a Kevin Smith movie?
They're all Kevin Smith movies.
Okay.
Yeah. Every one of these in.
All right.
Or except for Batman.
Not that I don't like silly. It's just
silly, absurd humor that is dumb.
That one didn't connect with me.
Is me.
Yes. That one didn't connect.
I hope I sold myself and DonnieTheEntertainer.com. Smash that subscribe, baby. Yeah. Okay, don't hit the cancel button.
All right, so you're saying Chris Rock, Sacha Baron Cohen, Isla Fisher, they were all there.
Yeah, Chris Rock did like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then Dave Chappelle went up, and that was one of the things that he said that was such a great wise thing, I think, was he got up on stage and he said, and he spent about 10 minutes. He's like, hey, I want to talk to the comics in the room, because I know there are a lot of comics here because it's a comedy store, and a lot of you guys.
Comedy store?
It was at the Comedy Store, yeah.
LA,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, remember the Uber? I was all right.
You didn't say it was LA, but okay.
Oh yeah, no, I said the Comedy Store.
I missed it.
All right. So, but it was in the main room. It was in the
downstairs.
Yeah, it was the downstairs main room, not the. It's like the original room. There you go.
Okay.
So not the belly room or the other big room, but yeah. So anyhow, Dave Chappelle got up there and he said, "I just want to talk to the comics for a second, and I want to tell you that this is not the rap game. This is you guys are." He's like, "I consider you guys my peers. You guys are. You shouldn't. Yeah. You should not be." Competition. You're not each other's competition. You shouldn't be competitors. We are a team and we're a family. And he's like, so I have, and he like basically said he respected all the comics and what they do. And he's like, but stop acting dumb and acting like, like your competition, because you're not. Again, the more comics who are doing great stuff, the more opportunities for any comic, whether it be a comic getting to the point where they have their own room that they're booking, or whatever it is, or their own open mic, or their own show on TV, or sketch show, or whatever it is. We all rise together. And he said that, and it was like, and it was something that I was like, oh heck yeah, like this is coming from Dave Chappelle, so like I think this is valid now. But it's something that I really hold near and dear as far as ideologically. I'm like, dude, no, we are a team, and even creative people, artists in general, I think are a team, and we're the philosophers of this generation.
It's true.
So if you're a creative person, you have whatever platform you have, whether you have 10 Twitter followers or whatever, I don't care. You have an opportunity to put something productive into the world and to be a force for good. So that's really like something that I am really something that touches my heart, like that I feel like is relevant.
Yeah, going back to the theater thing, I think the line that really stuck with me that's similar to that is I think it's 2011, the Tony Awards. Norbert Leo Butts. He was in the original production of Wicked. Last 5 years, he's done a lot of good stuff. Anyway, so he won the Best Actor award in a musical in 2011, and that was in the first handful of years I was doing theater. And you see, you're on the outside looking in, and you're thinking everyone's competitive. You're thinking everybody's kind of out for each other's jobs, and it's cutthroat. It's a soap opera, all that. Yeah. And he got up there and he won his award. And when you win a Tony Award, that basically solidifies your career. If you're a Tony Award winner, you will work on Broadway as long as you want to, which is nice. That's a whole nother level. But usually only writers get EGOTs, so keep that in mind. Shout out to Bobby Lopez, double EGOT. He's got 2 of all of them.
I heard there's Jennifer out there, J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez. Shout out to her.
So yeah, Robert Lopez. We can talk about that later.
She's out there.
Anyways, but one thing that I think that really stuck with me, and I'm glad I heard it when I was where I was in my theater career. Again, I was only a couple years in, and he said something to the effect, I don't remember verbatim, but basically it was like he was holding the award in his hands. Tony Awards, big deal, and he says like, I am not the best actor in this room, but I am the most gracious person in this room right now. And it was something to the effect of like, I'm lucky to be where I am. I'm happy that I won this.
Yeah, it's a place of humility. It's a humble.
And he very easily been like, he very easily could have been like, I'm the best. I'm whatever. Yeah. But he took the opportunity to say, like I'm the most gracious man, or I'm the most thankful man in the room tonight, and
grateful
and for that stuck with me. This is 10 years now, and I've
always
thought about that.
Key,
and
man.
I've always considered like if I ever get an opportunity to win an award or be selected for a show, be cast in a show, it's not because I was the best person, and whether I was or wasn't, I got the role, and I'm gracious and I'm thankful for it.
That's it. I like that. And and again, in the comedy community, like I'm nobody's competition. I have my own path. You have your own path.
Right.
And if we can collaborate on something, great. If it doesn't make sense to collaborate, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I'm going to be best friends with everybody in the comedy community. Doesn't mean I'm going to be even everybody's going to like me. Doesn't even mean that most people will like me. I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just matters that you're, again, coming from a place that you're aware of your motives, and that you have something. Again, you have a gift. You have something to offer.
Right.
And you're trying to hone that gift to where you have something that can be eventually enjoyed by people.
Yeah.
So really that's it as a comic, and as in any kind of artistic form.
Right.
I think is that, we have the ability to think for ourselves,
mm-hmm.
and we should be. And that's why I lose a lot of respect for people who are bought and paid for,
right?
Who become
callback.
Yeah. Right. But the thing is, like,
Colbert,
because punk rock was so huge when we were younger, right? Well, for you,
it was very instrumental, and
it's
why I have the ethos I have with a lot of things.
Yeah.
The DIY ethos of punk rock, I'd carry with me in my professional life.
Yeah. Screw the man. Here's the thing. The bottom line is,
and now I am the man.
Now he's the man. No, but the point though, that punk rock sentiment is that, like, okay, it's anti-establishment,
right?
It's
and skateboarding. No, those are the big instrumental things.
Oh, dude, so
it's like punk rock and skateboarding were probably
we used to skate together.
We did, and I'm saying that was probably the most influential and instrumental things of my upbringing. I feel like were influential and kind of gave me the blueprint of how to live my life.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
not to be destructive, but to always question, always have reason for
not to
being...
be again. Yeah. The punk rock stuff that I like is like, even with Tool, like, so Tool comes from now Tool is something I didn't listen to.
Kind of came out of the grunge movement.
It came out, but Maynard, his whole like ideology is
correct. But I'm saying, like, the time they came out, it was like as grunge.
Oh yeah,
this
is like
go away.
This is like a post grunge alternative progressive,
and then became progressive and
progressive rock.
25 years later, and I still listen to it. I'm like,
yeah,
how are they that good 25 years ago?
How are they still that good? Yeah, exactly. And so
how was Third Eye that good? Like,
yeah. No, it's great. I still listen to it. I mean, but I didn't. There was a period of maybe, oh gosh, how many years? Like maybe like 8 years I didn't listen to Tool.
Was this after the 10,000 Days debacle? Didn't we have that conversation?
This was after they did a publicity stunt.
Okay.
Maynard did a publicity stunt, and I remember hearing about it at a Seven Dust concert. Show you what kind of cultured man I am. So I was at a new metal show. And
so new they spelled the word
in you metal.
New.
Yeah. Because it's in you and it comes out as metal. So Well, that's the thing. That was the
Yeah.
actual topic. It was
Okay.
so Maynard came out and he said, "No, I'm saved. I got, I became a follower of Jesus." And like, but it was a publicity stunt. It wasn't real. So when that happened, I lost so much respect for the dude
Yeah.
that I just stopped listening to the music. Now, 8 years later, what I've realized is that a lot of the sentiments, because I started listening to his like third side project band,
Perfect Circle or
Pussifer.
Pussifer.
Yeah. So I started listening to that because it's like, there's a girl named Karina Round. She's one of the singers. And when she came into the band, made it like completely different and like really cool. But it has a lot of, it has a lot of electronic elements to it, but it's very percussive. There are like these really weird minor tonalities and harmonies, and it's really just neat as a musician. You're like, this is kind of neat stuff. So I started listening to that, and I was like, okay. And I started like really listening because I never paid attention to the lyrics before.
Right.
When I was a kid, I just had rock in my heart, and I was like, I just want to rock, and I have all this energy and angst, and I want to get it out.
You're just singing along.
I'm just singing along.
An impressionable teenager. F L Ron Hubbard.
Right. Yeah,
all
exactly.
That.
All that. Well, dude, it was 6th grade when for me, when I got that album, and I actually had to sneak it. I had to sneak it. So I went and
because if you don't know, had the legs behind. It was a whole thing.
It was a whole a lot of stuff that's not good for kids to see. So what I did was I bought my mom a Christmas present.
Sure.
While I was with my dad. And at the mall, I went and I ran to the Sam Goody, I think it was at the time. Sam Goody?
It's called back.
There you go. SamGoody.com. It probably doesn't exist. Well, it might actually only exist there. But the thing is, I went to the mall, I bought the CD, and I was like, okay, I can't let my dad see it. So I put it in an oven mitt that I bought my mom, a Santa oven mitt, which is very cute.
Did you pay for the CD before you put it in the oven mitt just to be sure?
I did.
You didn't sneak it out. You didn't steal
I went to the dollar store and I bought the oven mitt
because
I got her something else too, but it was, oven mitt was part of it. So I put it in the oven mitt and then I wrapped it all up. So I wrapped it up so that way when I went back to my dad, I was like, hey, I got my mom a Christmas present. And he's like, oh, I wanted to see it. Oh, you wrapped it? I was like, yeah, I wrapped it. So, you can't see it. And then, and I went to my mom's house. So I went back to my mom's house. I opened it up. I got the CD out. I had to smuggle it.
Yeah.
And I got the CD out and then I rewrapped it, gave my mom the gift. And so that was 6th grade. And ever since 6th grade, I had listened to Tool. It was the only band I ever really truly loved. Like I was like, man, this is the best music ever. And then all the way up until this show, this Seven Dust show. And this guy walks up to me, and I was in college, I think, at the time. And he's like, or maybe I wasn't in college. No, maybe it was like 10 years. I don't know how long it's been that I haven't listened to him.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's probably been 10, 15 years. Anyhow, so what happened is, I think it was around 2005 or 6 or something. And somebody came up and they told me about this publicity stunt. And I was like, no way. And when I actually did the research, found out it was legit, I just cold turkey. Stop listening to my favorite thing to listen to ever.
Yeah.
So now that I have more perspective and understanding of life and all that, the cool thing about Maynard and his what he communicates is it is a very, and like even on Third Eye, if you listen to that album, he has Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks in the beginning.
Bill Hicks, comedian.
If you don't like drugs, you should go home, burn all your records.
Yeah, that guy. But he also says, think for yourself.
Right.
Question authority. And they just kind of put that on a loop for one of the songs. And I was like, huh, okay. And then I started listening to more of this guy's lyrics, like in his tertiary band. And I was like,
good word.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah.
I went like threes of the
thing, it's the University of South Florida,
with,
dude.
The tertiary Third Eye. I'm feeling I'm feeling that.
Meta. All right. So, all right. So here's the thing. So then
third band.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So his third band. Yeah. But I started listening to all this stuff and I was like, okay, these lyrics are deep and they're coming from a place of that kind of that humanist kind of perspective.
Right.
Like, hey, like, why are we spewing hate everywhere? why are we not thinking for ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
And why are we not helping each other, and we're tearing each other down and not building each other up?
Right.
And I was like, holy crap, this guy's like closer to my worldview than I ever thought. Like, I was like, man, this guy's way closer to me than I thought. And again, because I was like really mad for that he did that. I thought that was very extremely disrespectful and appalling, But then I started actually understanding where he was coming from. Not with that. I still don't think that's a good thing to do, and I don't condone that. But what I'm saying is his other stuff, though, his actual lyrics come from a place that's different than I thought.
Right.
So, especially as he's matured and aged, as happens with anybody, but he's actually gotten to a point where he's like, dude, no, like, why are we destroying each other? And he has a song called Fake Affront. It does have some profanity in it, but it's like, it talks about far left or far right, far left. He's basically saying they're all the same. So stop the fake affront.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're just all prideful.
Right.
So again, I just I like that attitude, and again, he's very punk rock in his sentiment of question authority. We should really think about what we do, and we should think about why we do it. Like, why do we do what we do? Why do we do this? Which is not a podcast, by the way.
It's not.
Why do we subscribe? Why do we smash
that button?
Subscribe button. Come on, baby. For the algorithms, that's what we do. I do it all for the algorithm. Remember?
Yeah.
All right. All right, that was cool.
Yeah.
I think one of these is still on.
Yeah. There you go.
Well,
it's interesting you talk about that, and I think how I look at music and how it affected me growing up is, you're talking about Maynard James Keenan, who's talking about these large macro ideas, and I think what was instrumental for me growing up is I was born in the micro ideas, the microcosms of relationships, and how all I wanted from ages 12 to like 17 was I just wanted a girlfriend. So I was available then, ladies. Sorry. But like most of the bands that really resonate with me are usually the ones who the singers always had issues with their girlfriends, whether they.
Oh yeah, because you were really emo, dude. You were into.
Still am. I'm wearing an Under Oath shirt for crying out loud.
Wearing an Under Oath shirt. No, but he was into emo, like Dashboard Confessional.
Still am.
This guy. He learned when he was learning how to sing and stuff, like he was playing guitar and he would play that Screaming Infidelity song.
I did. No, I say all that to say, I think where the songs really resonated with me was when we had songs like, if we're gonna use Dashboard for instance, like Hands Down is probably one of his most famous songs.
Yeah, Screaming Infidelities. Yeah.
Well, Hands Down is another song which he has.
Hands Down.
It's called Hands Down.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know.
I think he uses very plain language, which as an English major, I appreciate the poetic language, but the plain language sometimes gets right to the point. The green line's right to where you're trying to go. And I think that song really, that whole album, it was a 4-song EP, and I think that was, before I knew I loved musical theater, like an album like that. It was a concept album, basically. It was an arc of a first date is what the whole album was. It was 4 songs. First song was For You to Notice. He wants the girl to notice him. Second song was called
it's called The Simps.
Yeah.
Shout out to The Simps.
Yeah, the next song was So Impossible, which is basically like, could this happen? Like, will she like me? Could this happen? And then the next song was Remember to Breathe, which is him getting ready for the date. Which is like, I'm gonna wear blue. She's gonna wear blue. What am I gonna wear? What is she wearing? Just remember what she asked you. Remember to breathe. That's the song. And then the album ends with Hands Down, which basically is him dropping the girl off after the date, and then how great that day was. And how
I thought he was like being respectful, like he was keeping his hands down.
No, I mean like the song, like the
purity.com.
Yeah, the final refrain is hands down. This is the best day that I ever remember. Always remember the sound. So like it's just like he always goes to that arc, and I guess like that really punctuated like how I was feeling at that time. And obviously you evolve, you get older, and your themes, your ideas change. Now that I'm the age that I'm at now, the songs that I write.
Don't worry about his age.
Yeah, I'm ageless.
Don't get judgy. All right,
the songs that resonate with me now are about seeing the world through someone else's eyes. As a father, I have to kind of see it through other people's eyes, and there's a band I like a lot named Emery. And
Ooh, I do like that band. I like that band.
That band's great. And what's kind of cool about them is I feel like I've kind of grown up with them, whereas like their first album was all about things out, girls who didn't like you and how we kind of, how we figured out life and, ponytail parades, it doesn't feel right holding someone else's hand, like that kind of stuff, and, I want you back. And that's how,
that's what my ex-wife said. She said it didn't feel right.
Right. But then like you go through, you go through their catalog, and as they get older, their worldview changes a little bit. And I felt like as I was aging with them, and like now their latest album is, they just put one out called Rub Some Dirt on it, and not a sponsor.
About having kids.
Just about getting through life and like not
taking the hurts and like what we were talking about earlier, maybe taking the hurts and dealing with them and and learning to be productive with it.
And that's actually a good that kind of comes back to what this whole conversation last 20 minutes. We started talking about bullying and then we came into somewhere else.
That's okay. It's not a podcast, so it doesn't matter.
It's not. So like
I'm sorry I didn't put on deodorant. Go ahead.
It's okay. What I tell people sometimes is when they feel like they are victims of bullying, I kind of have to give this whole like spiel, like, did it happen more than once? Was it repeated? Was there an amount? There's a whole thing you have to go through when you're trying to figure out if it's bullying or not. But most of the time, it's not. Usually it's a disagreement or it's a misunderstanding, or it is, adolescence generally.
Oh, sure.
But I say all that to say is usually the conversation ends with like, not let's take care of the other person because they're the bully. It's like, let's empower you to deal with it better later.
Right.
And I think that's where.
But we're not doing that as adults.
I think as, before I get canceled again, I think as a society,
you're not going to get canceled. Nobody's watching this.
That's true. We're not, I don't think we're doing as much of that as we should. Like, as opposed to calling people out and canceling them, it's like, okay, someone says something I don't like. How can I better, how can I either get a thicker skin, and then how can I deal with what people saying mean things moving forward?
Right. Absolutely.
How do things will come back to me? How can I, because I have to get up every day, put shoes on, and go to work.
Yeah, we all have a personal responsibility.
Yes,
and something that we can we can use it. We can learn more about ourselves. Maybe areas that we're vulnerable, where we need to find out why we're vulnerable, or how we can maybe get less vulnerable if needed.
So I do know I had a personal experience where someone was told that they were called bad names. So I had to make a choice. Do I fly off the handle and be upset with the other person for saying bad things, or do I empower the person I'm talking to on how to deal with it moving forward? Because honestly, the other person, they're bringing their best. I really can't change their home life, their environment, their influence. I can't change that.
No,
but I might be able to change this person that's close to me. Change is the wrong word. I can empower.
Yeah, or impact them,
give that person the skills to move forward. So I chose the latter. Let's give that person skills to move forward and to be stronger. And the issue went away.
That's cool, man. Yeah. See, that's again, we can all take a piece of wisdom there, because that's a little nugget of wisdom there for you.
So, and another thing with like cancel culture is, I think we started talking about this earlier.
Well, yeah, because we're doing a documentary. I'm doing a documentary about cancel culture.
Right.
DonnieEntertainer.com.
And I think what's interesting about cancel culture is there's almost like a hero quality almost with calling somebody out. There's almost like some, as opposed to trying to fix or educate the person who's saying something you don't like, it's better to call that person out, cancel that person, and then you're the hero.
Right. Yeah. And also, again, it's about what are you trying to get? Like, what am I trying to get out of canceling somebody? Like, is it monetary gain? Is it to get some kind of voice on a social media platform?
Right.
Is it to write a book? Is it, what am I trying to get, and what are the motives behind it? Because there are always going to be consequences to actions.
Someone said, let's cancel culture.
Let's cancel culture. Hey, yeah, that's an idea.
If we can.
That's an idea. And again, that's why we're here, is to bring ideas to
We'll do what we can, Kevin. We'll start right
Kevin,
here.
we got you, buddy. We're doing a documentary. It's called The Last Laugh, and it's about cancel culture and comedy. So actually, I just met with Larry the Cable Guy the other day, and Dan Whitney is his name, and he's a very, very sweet guy. Very sweet guy.
Did you get an NDA on that one? Are you allowed to put that out there?
It's on Wikipedia.com, so check it out.
It's in the public record.
It's in public record.
Yes.
But yeah, so I met with him and another one, a cat named Mo. That's Maurice Jovan. No, Maurice Jovan. He's a big radio personality, a movie filmmaker, and just a general artist all around, and a very good friend of Dan Whitney and comics alike. He works at 1025 The Bone, so check him out there. But he also, well, actually, I think he only works there. Like he works there. He knows the guys. I don't know. He knows them. And I know Johnny Bell over there. He's a comic as well. So, but yeah, the cancel culture documentary really explores all angles, all the angles we can, all the interviews that we get. And also we have some contacts with Bill Maher in the works. Yeah. So
real time.
That's real time right there. Yeah. We're trying to get a hold of Bill Maher here, and hopefully, because we're going out to LA to film part of it, and we have a few venues who have graciously offered. I'm going to shout out to Randy Lubis. Hey, Randy. Hey, buddy. So he is been a bit of a mentor to me, and just an all-around nice guy and a great comic. He used to own a comedy club. Well, he owns a few comedy clubs, but he used to own Ventura Harbor Comedy Club in Ventura, California, and that's where my mom used to live. And he used to give me lots of stage time to help me work on my act, and I appreciate him. So thank you, Randy.
Great.
So Randy is going to be providing us with some spots to film that, and he may also be in. We're planning on doing a conversation where it's kind of like Randy, myself, and then somebody, on another comic. And again, we're looking at Bill Maher. Oh, we also have one of the producers of Real Time. He's good friends with the producer. He's also good friends with Jamie Kennedy, who's on the thing.
You gonna get X'd?
What's that?
You get X'd?
Am I gonna get X'd? Oh, like the Jamie Kennedy experiment.
You've been X'd.
You've been X'd. You got pranked.
Yeah.
Pranks.com. But so Jamie Kennedy is his friend. So we actually might do another interview with Jamie Kennedy, because the last one we did, he started getting all like
worked up into it.
Yeah, he started getting into it and like just really emotional. And then but we had a limited amount of time at the club. So we had to we had to pack up all our stuff, and we wanted to respect the club owner.
You had to do a tight 15. You had to get
right. I was like, well, we had
the red light came on.
We got a 30-minute interview.
Sweet.
But it was like, again, it was just starting to get really good. And same thing with Erica Rhodes. So when we're in LA, we'll probably get another couple sound bites from those guys, because they're awesome. So yeah, this I'm really excited about just these interviews and where it's kind of taken us, because it's all of it is an investigation. It's not we're not the story.
Right.
We're not the story. We're just kind of like
the story. Rule 1 in journalism.
That's right. I'm a journalist.
Big J journalism.
Yeah. Well, now I guess, yeah, because now I'm in a sense a documentarian.
DonnieTheJournalist.com.
I need to buy that.
You need some slashes.
/ awesome podcast. That's not a podcast.
Not a podcast.
Yes. .com. So we
in the metaverse.
We had the whole metaverse behind us, obviously. Donnie the Entertainer, and its
don't cancel the metaverse before we
don't cancel the metaverse yet.
Before we make it big, right? Or you make it big, and I'll just pop on once in a while.
Yeah, pop on, dude. Come on and hang, dude. Yeah,
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm happy to be with you, buddy. For real. So anyhow, we are excited to explore the ideas of cancel culture, accountability culture.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if I've heard that phrase before. Accountability
culture is so here's the thing. That. Yeah, so it's kind of like a continuum.
I've probably heard that, but yeah, a spectrum.
It's a bit of a spectrum, because if you think about it, it's like, okay, cancel culture, these guys are like, yeah, well, whatever, screw cancel culture. But then you have other people who are like, well, we need to hold people accountable to their actions. And I'm like, yes, like both of them. I'm like, both of these things are legitimate, so I would fall in the middle of that spectrum probably. So which helps us to be in a good place to do this documentary, because it's like, we don't want to be cancel or anti, like you shouldn't be able to like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby got out of prison.
Careful.
Don't tell me to be careful. Do you know what this is? It's not a podcast, so it's fine. But
just saying,
careful, dude. I'm a comic. I'm not supposed.
I'm not.
Who do you know in history who ever really did anything of note, who was played it safe. It's not how it works.
That's true. Go ahead.
So that's not my goal. And again, it doesn't matter. It's that's just not my DNA as an artist. I'm an artist. So anyhow, Bill Cosby gets out of prison.
Right.
Which
hey.
He did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as he's walking out of prison, dude looks at the camera. He goes, hey. How do you feel about that?
You're asking me as a rhetorical, or you're actually asking
Well,
me?
no, I'm just saying, like, okay, so because we have the continuum, you know, Louis C.K., he's in there somewhere. You got Bill Cosby. So I would say Bill Cosby is a guy who I probably, if I were a woman, I would not want to, you know, obviously work with him or be around him. Or
the dude's 80 some odd years old. Like, what?
That's what I'm
How
saying.
sharp can he be these days?
He's not sharp. No.
Yeah.
He's got. I mean, he's sharp enough to where he thought he was doing a stand-up tour. And his stand-up tour canceled because of the situation of the rape. He was doing, he was drugging women. He was drugging women. If you guys don't know, Bill Cosby.
Let's start at the beginning.
Bill Cosby was drugging women and,
Yes.
And taking advantage of them. And it was really rampant in his career. And a lot of comics knew it. And a lot of women came forward. And it was like it wasn't like one woman. It wasn't like one woman came forward.
Dozens.
It was like everybody came out of the woodwork, including comics, saying, hey, yeah, this guy's a creep. And he's been doing this for a long time.
Sure.
So again, where do we fall on? And then he got out of prison. OJ, would you want to get married to OJ? Probably not. So my point is, he doesn't like what I'm saying because it's controversial. But the point is,
no, I'm curious where you're going with this.
My point is that there needs to be
stick that landing.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm saying, but there needs to be accountability. Yes.
Sure.
However, when you just straight up cancel somebody because of a personal vendetta or again a nefarious motive, and you just feel like it, whatever, and people start to believe certain things over time about what their experience was or wasn't. And so it's like, okay, at what point are we just taking subjective and different voices and applying them as hashtag believe so-and-so?
Believe women?
Yeah, believe women, believe men. Doesn't matter. Don't believe humans. They're freaking liars.
Yeah.
So don't believe anybody is my point. So the thing is, like, you can't say believe women, just like you can't say believe men. We're all fallible. There has to be some kind of due process. There's a due process.
Was it Bill Burr who says, like, believe women? No, don't believe all women. Believe like 80% of them.
That's right. He's like, yeah, I'll give you like 85%. I'll give you like 85%.
Some are just nuts. Right?
Believe women? No.
Yeah, some are just nuts. Don't believe them.
No. Hey, no. Hey.
This is Bill Burr shtick.
Hey.
No? Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill Burr. Yeah, he's a hilarious dude. Very vulgar, so be aware of that if you're trying to not watch vulgar stuff.
Yeah.
I am a clean comic. But here's the thing. So yeah, but again, believe women. Yeah, all of them, like 85%. I'll give you 85%. I agree. I would say like most women I can believe.
I say believe the truth.
But that's it. Believe the truth.
Believe the truth. Because
truth culture. I want truth culture. I don't want cancel culture.
There's three sides to every story. Remember, there's one side, second side, and the truth in between. So that truth in between is what we're looking for. And that's where the answers lie.
Boom. And that is how you freaking button up a podcast that's not even a podcast. That's why it doesn't matter that just fell.
Mic drop, literally.
It did drop. Speaking of dropping, I'm about to drop some music. I got a music video in the works. It's called The Allergy People. Yeah, it's a parody of Marilyn Manson. You didn't see that coming, did you? Cancel culture. You didn't see it. Is he canceled? I think he might be.
Last I read anything about him, something about his ex-girlfriend says he.
So it turns out he was creepy.
Sexually. So why is anybody surprised?
It turns out the guy was a creep.
The guy dresses like a ghoul. Like,
I don't know. That's weird.
So whatever.
Wow. Okay. But no, I don't know. We don't know if he's canceled yet. But the thing is that I am doing a Marilyn Manson parody. It's called The Allergy People. It's about anybody with food allergies. If you know anybody with food allergies or what it's like to try to dine with somebody who has all these dietary restrictions.
Yep.
You're going to love it. You're going to hate it. You're going to have some kind of opinion. And I know I'm going to hear it. So in my DMs.
You might get canceled because of this.
I could. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So anyhow, the point is love people.
Right.
Love everybody. Don't believe anybody.
Yeah. help each other out.
Let's help each other. Let's be productive and love each other. Because yes, again, that continuum, because there does need to be accountability, and there does need to be certain people shouldn't be allowed to do nightclubs. Do you think you should hire Bill Cosby now? No. If I were a club owner, I'm just saying, if I were a club owner, I would say no. Was there due process with his trial?
Right. Well,
I don't know. I mean, again,
play devil's advocate though. He does still have an audience. People will still pay to see him.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, yeah, but I'm just saying
I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying don't be surprised if a club owner, a booker is like, you know what?
He might be selling less VIP tickets now.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm saying someone will be like, you know what? There's money to be made out there. I don't really care what happened. You know, like I'm gonna make some money.
Well, yeah, and there should be again, we should be loving and not judgmental and give grace. I think there's we should offer grace to people.
I'm not saying he should do it. I'm just saying that there's probably some promoter out there who's gonna be like, you know what? I can make
money. Yeah.
I can make money off this guy.
I mean, the guy is funny. I mean, he is funny. Like he's objectively funny. Even though I'm not a big fan of his act, I can say objectively as a comic that he inspired so many comics like Chris Rock.
True. That's like
Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle,
right.
A number of others, even Bill Burr, and like a lot of people that are well-known comics these days.
Hey, the Cosby Show was the highest rated show of the 80s.
He's America's dad.
Yeah.
So yes, there's legitimacy to his career. I'm not going to say that his whole career didn't happen, but again, now we have to exercise judgment.
Remember where we live,
or sound judgment, rather, not judging people, but sound judgment.
But remember, we live now. You know, we live in the world of cancel culture. So once you're done, it doesn't matter what you have done. It doesn't matter. All the good you've done is done for once you're quote canceled.
Right. And that's
the society we live in.
And we just ignore the history. We ignore the history. But historically, again, we can all say he was a clean comic. Which isn't good for me.
Didn't Chappelle say something about like he's done more good than bad in his career, something along those lines?
Oh, I don't know if he said that. Did he?
Said something. Again, I know this is a clean comics channel, so I don't want to say exactly what he said, but something along the lines that he's done.
Well, you can say like F or S or whatever.
No.
I mean, don't say the word, but just be like, oh, he said F this or whatever.
I don't want to misquote Chappelle, but something about like he rapes or he helps more than he rapes, something along those lines.
Oh, I think he did. Yeah, I remember that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I do remember that. So again, it's like the Bill Cosby a lot of comics knew, and that who America knew as America's dad is not the same Bill Cosby that nowadays that we know. So that again, we have to adjust as humans. Right. Again, he's been acquitted, so we can't.
By the letter of the law, he's been acquitted.
By the letter of the law, he's been acquitted, so we can't.
This is the court of public opinion, but still.
Yeah. So in the court of public opinion, we can't.
Which is stronger than the actual court these days.
That's why we have to figure out how do we proceed? How do we move forward in a way to where we're not shooting ourselves in the foot? Because as a society, if we're leeches and we're trying to be parasites on whatever the latest person who messed up is, and we're not examining our own issues, that is going to be a real problem.
Right.
So that's the whole point of the documentary, is to like explore that. Like, where are we going? Where have we been? Because we actually have a comedy historian on this documentary, dude. And then one dude I interviewed, Andy Freeman. This guy's so wise and awesome, just a sweet dude. But Andy Freeman has been in behind the scenes in comedy. He's been a comedy recruiter for television and warm-up comics and all this stuff, and he's been in TV for over 40 years doing that.
Right.
So we interviewed him, and he's over the years, he's obviously learned so much about comedy and even historically, like in history, because he's an older gentleman now. So he's learned where we've been and where we're going, and he knows like it doesn't look good. It's basically what he's saying. Like, be careful, because if we don't know your history, you're not going to know where we could end up.
Right.
So again, if we're
Like
going to
you said,
ignore, if we're
yeah.
going to ignore Dr. Martin Luther King,
then we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. So thank you guys for checking out my friend Gabe Flores. He is a lifelong buddy, and he always will be in my book. That we're doing. We did that because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow,
we're maskless, less than 6 feet. Doesn't matter.
So this has been not a podcast.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you guys. We love you all.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. We got Kevin Collier. We got other people. I'm looking at the Instaverse.
That's part of the meta.
It's part of the metaverse. Hey guys.
Thank you, Zuck.
Thank you, Insta. Thank you guys.
So if you like this format, if you like our partnership, our team, let us know.
You love it. You love it.
And then maybe we'll do this more often.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't, because it doesn't matter, because it's not a podcast. Don't worry about it.
It'll be a show, whatever you want to call it. So thank you.
We're ending these streams, baby. If I could figure out how. Okay, cool. This one, yeah.
Thank you.